Welcome, everyone, to Late Night with BS3. We got a very special show tonight. We have the Douglas Boyz coming on the show, Flash, Victorious, and Rifka. Rifka's been on the show numerous times, so he'll be coming on with his brother this time. Really excited about that. Also, later on in the show, we will have my cousin, Tracy Killian. He has a styling company. He's a personal stylist. He'll be coming on the show later on talking about his business. So, man, we got a great show, a lot to get to. We'll be talking about the weekend sports in between the two guests. We are right now live on YouTube, Facebook, also Twitter, and we're live on Twitch for the first time. So we are live on various different platforms. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell so you can be on top of all the content BS3 Radio is putting out. We got two people already in the chat room. It's a very interactive show. We got Miss Mocabella, Roma. Thank you for tuning in. Also, we got Bill Harvey. He said, good evening. Thank you for tuning in as well. So let's bring in our first two guests, Flash, Victorious, and Rifka, the Douglas Boyz. How y'all doing tonight?
What's good? What's good?
What's good? Good to see y'all.
Hey, what's up, man? First off, all glory go to God, none to me. I'm real happy to be back on BS3 Radio for the third time. Thanks for
third time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, great to get you back on. For those of you that are tuning in on the Facebook group, you do have to follow a couple of directions and orders so I can see your face. Somebody said, go Suns. We'll talk about the NBA Finals here in a minute. But first of all, you guys introduce yourself, Flash, Victorious, since it's your first time on the show. Introduce yourself, where you're from, and a little bit about you.
I'm Flash Victorious. I'm from Houston, Texas. A little bit about me is that, I'm Rifka's brother, of course, as y'all know already. If you know Rifka, one thing about it, been in music for a good minute, good while. Been behind the scenes doing a lot of music in different ways, glorifying God every way we can. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this happy to be here.
Definitely. All right, and then Rifka. Some people may know you, some people may not, but introduce yourself.
I'm Rifka from Houston, Texas. Rifka's an acronym. It stands for Righteous and Faith in Christ Abundantly. I've been doing Christian hip hop for 19 years now. I have 4 albums out now with the Bridge and the Gap Project and 3 mixtapes. So that 77 is the number of completion. And me and my brother, we've done music together before. Some of y'all may be familiar with the Gospel Step. Some of y'all may be familiar with Mighty God. That was him in those music videos and on those songs with me. So we just here to glorify God and talk about the new project and the sports, of course.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So as you can see scrolling down below, the Douglas Boyz new album, Bridging the Gap. I think it's amazing how it's put together. Number one,
appreciate it,
and also including the older generation. That's a lot of what hip hop does not do, is including those that have brought us to this point. So that's a couple of things I do appreciate about this new project. And then Rifka, I'll say this also. Congratulations on getting married. That was what, a month or so ago?
Yeah, it was about 3 months ago. We got married.
About 3 months ago.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I want to make sure I pointed that out. But talk about, how did this project come together? Whose idea was it?
Well, you go ahead, Riff. If you was about to say something, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it was Flash idea, so I'll let him take it. But I'll talk about it first, and then he could kind of get back on and talk about what I leave out. Probably about 2015, or maybe even before that, he brought up the idea about us doing the Douglas Boyz project. And I was cool with it, but I didn't know if it was ever going to happen or anything like that. Then fast forward a little bit, when it came time for the wedding, my father-in-law asked me to do the gospel wobble at the wedding. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I knew Flash was going to be there, and I never really get to do the gospel step with him. I always got to do his song on my own, his verse on my own. So I was gonna do the gospel wobble as well as the gospel steps. So I was like, I'm gonna ask him to do it. At first, he didn't really want to do it. I had to keep on bothering him about it. Then he finally decided that he would do that song with me. I wanted him to do Mighty God too, but he was like, nah, bro, I do gospel step with you though. So we did it, and then afterwards, we started talking about the Douglas Boyz project. He was playing some beats for me actually at the reception. you know, and because it's a tribute album to our uncle, the late Wilson Douglas III, and our father, Deacon Nathan Douglas. You know, we wanted to honor them because they're the original Douglas Boys or Douglas brothers. So we the next generation. So it's kind of a passing of the torch, and I let him take on what I left out.
All right.
Yeah, it was a passing of the torch, and we want to really give an honor to, like, you know, pretty much bring the church together. As you see a lot of times in the church, what will happen is that, like, when you have, you know, the regular choir come up, the young adults or the children, they'll sit down and they kind of watch from a distance. And then when you have, you know, the youth Sunday, then everybody in there, they have a rapper up there, and then the old people are looking like, what's going on, you know? Right. So we said, you know, it'd be nice to have something that you can have both sides and both generations be able to enjoy an album together. And
right.
You know, and really be able to get into it. I mean, really be able to feel the spirit in the room and be able to enjoy together, because that's what we're meant to do anyway. I mean, we're meant to worship together. So we want to make it so that's the whole reason for the name of the album, or Bridging the Gap. That to be able to bridge the gap from the elders to the youth, all the way through and all between, and everybody be able to worship together. And you know, glory to God, we accomplish that.
Definitely. And I listened to a lot of the joints. We're getting a little bit of feedback from somebody. I don't know if you, Rifka, that maybe you, if you got some headphones, you can maybe put in, or I don't know if that was you or not, but you know,
I don't think I have any. Let me see.
Okay,
I have to go get some headphones to check.
Okay. If it's not, it's okay. But what I'll say is that it's great to see how you're able to mesh the two generations together. And then from the beginning of the album, because I listened to that first one, I'm like, wow, they got the prayer at the beginning. That really kind of set the tone for the album. And then a lot of the joints really work well together. You had some moments of prayer with your father and your uncle. And so I really thought that was just, you know, well put together. We got a couple of comments from listeners. Shout out to, this is Jason Fearman. I'm kind of going in between screens, so I know who that is. And then this gentleman here, this is, let me go to his name, Matthew. He said, is the CD available in stores?
Yes, actually it is. It's available on Amazon. You get it on Amazon. You can get it, and that'd probably be the best way to get it is on Amazon. Just go on Amazon like you ordering just a regular thing that you do on Amazon. Type in Douglas Boyz and we'll come right up.
Awesome. Somebody said, "Hey, babe."
Yeah, that's Rifka's wife. That's my sister-in-law.
Okay. She said, "What's up, bro?"
What's up, Tam?
Definitely.
But you can get it there. You can also stream it on Spotify. You have it on YouTube Music. You have it on mostly all platforms. We've been kind of working with Apple right now because, you know, Apple's a little tricky right now. But besides that, we have it on every single platform besides Apple.
Definitely. I think that fixed it. Rifka.
Yeah, it sounds like it did fix it. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfect. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. My bad.
Yeah. So and when we get finished with the interview, I will be playing one of the tracks off the album, Work It Out. So I got that all loaded up and ready to go. But yeah, man, I you don't see projects like this all the time where it brings, like you said, older generation, new generation together. What was that working together with your, you know, with the older generation, if you will, on this album? Were you guys all in the room together? How did that all coordinate?
Actually, how that worked out is that because we have Mr. Matthews. He's on Come As You Are. He came in one day and he jumped on the album. And man, he's an anointed singer. He actually is a minister also. He's in his when he's in his late 60s. And he came in, he dropped the hook, did an awesome job. My mom's on it. She's actually on pray. As soon as the prayer ends, you hear her voice. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna tell you her age, but she's an elder.
Yeah, don't do that.
Right. And it was, and one thing about it, and it all the way down to my son, he's on testimony. So
yeah, I seen that today. Yeah.
And he's 14, you know,
wow.
So we took all the way ages all the way through. because it shouldn't be about music. Shouldn't be about age. It should be about the worshiping of God and enjoying music together. I mean, you have so much because you never know where you're going to, you know where you've been,
Right.
and
Exactly.
that's a beautiful thing. And when you able to really admire how the music got there to where it is now, and actually merge it
I
together to
can't hear
really
it no more.
to merge it together and really be able to enjoy it.
Yeah. I think I don't know if the headphones fell out. But
I
yeah,
can't hear.
Okay. Maybe plug the headphones back in. Maybe
We
somebody
hear you
said,
though.
yeah, we can hear you. Somebody said a
Yes,
family
I
affair.
can't hear nothing.
yes, it is. It's a family affair. It's a family affair, and I mean, pretty much you have my uncle, and what's so nice about it, I mean, we was able to really bring our uncle back to life on this album because he's been gone for about 3 years, and as you hear him, the first person that's praying is him. He comes out and he prays,
Wow.
and one thing that's beautiful about it is that if you look at it, like a lot of people end their albums with prayer. Why?
Yeah.
That start
Beginning.
off, yeah, that begin the album with prayer, and that's how it should be done. And one thing about it, and that gets the album off right, you know. And
Right.
then the first song after it is a prayer. Pray. The name of the song is Pray,
Yeah.
and really our verses are actually a prayer. If you listen to our verses on the first verses, both our verses are us praying.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's the first thing, you know. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna glorify God, give Him all the glory, and thank Him, and then go on into the album.
Yeah.
And then and then also our father, he doesn't sing or anything like that, but he plays the guitar. So you listen to on Spirit in the Room, he's playing the guitar on Spirit in the Room.
Wow.
So, and that's the only song on the album, Holy Spirit in the Room, that all four Douglas Boyz are on the song together.
Wow. So is that your dad or uncle then, the one that's passed? Flash.
The one that's our uncle.
That's uncle. Okay. So was that a prayer? I think that's amazing. Was that a prayer that was taken from a service, like something that was recorded?
Actually, that's the prayer he always says before he starts preaching.
Okay.
So every time he starts preaching, because he was a pastor, he's a pastor, and he was pastor over a Victorious Living church, which Victorious Living is still at right now. His wife is over it right now, and she's running the church right now. She's the pastor now. But the nice thing about it is that's our auntie, of course, Auntie Ann, and she's running it now. But that's how he used to always start his service. He never started his service as far as his preaching without praying.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's the best way to do it, to introduce how you're going to deliver, the word of the Most High, is to do it with that prayer. So I mean, like, this is, like I said, I can't talk about how much I appreciate this project because we don't see this that often. Now, I also wanted to kind of go into and ask, who did the production? Was that mainly you, Flash?
That was me. I produced the whole album.
Wow, yeah. Awesome. And so
Rifka,
I know
me and the Holy Spirit.
Okay. Yeah. I hear you. So Rifka, I know you did a lot of the vocals on it, as well as Flash did. But kind of, what was one of your favorite moments in the process of the album? If you could share one, or many, if you got many.
Okay, well, first I'd like to say I'm sorry about all the technical difficulties and stuff. I know y'all saw me pop in and out, but hopefully I got it straight now. I couldn't hear for a little bit, but yeah. So my favorite moment, I have two favorite moments. It was when I was at the studio with Flash, and the first one was when we were writing Come As You Are together, because if you hear Come As You Are, that third verse we're doing together, going back and forth. So we wrote that verse together. We actually recorded it together too, which was amazing. I never recorded a rap with somebody back and forth. And then the second most favorite was when we were recording or working on Holy Spirit in the Room, because my brother, he always wanted to hear the verses and make sure they fit right before we got in the booth or whatever. So I always had to spin my verse, and then we was putting certain things here. We said it was gonna go one direction with it, and then it wasn't necessarily working out that way. And then he heard one part, and he was like, and he heard my other part, and he was like, yeah, man, put that together, you know what I'm saying? And then it came out well. I'm really pleased with my verse on that particular song. So those were my two favorite points when we were writing together, creating together, as far as writing our verses and stuff.
Yeah. And Flash, I'll go to you, but I wanted to say, people that create music, the process. I love to hear about the process because we love the finished project, how it's packaged. But I'm sure there was some frustrating moments. I'm sure there was probably some moments where you're working together, you're trying to figure out how you can put it together.
Right.
You're working with different people at different times. You guys don't live in the same state, so I mean,
we
like
don't.
that also, I'm sure was interesting. But Flash, I go to you. What were some highlight moments?
Highlight moments was like, I always like the idea when you sit down and you really hear it at the end of it. When you finally do the whole song and you hear what you've done. I always been the type of person that I love to bring the best out of people,
Yeah.
And seeing my brother when he's like, he got that verse down, he know it sounds good and it got that good quality, and seeing that look on his face when he hears a good song. This the whole project I enjoyed. I mean, and doing it with my brother and everything like that. Yeah, we had, it's always one of those things you buckle back and forth. You like something this way, I like something the song from there. But it was very enjoyable sitting down and really being able to do something with my brother. We did songs together, but we never did a project together. So really that was the fun part for me, kind of like, seeing what, he likes, what I like, and actually bringing both our styles together and creating, and, because, and then God came in the mix of it, and that's what you got.
Right. I know that's the finished product right there. Now, separately, I know Rifka, you've released, this is your fourth, correct?
Yeah, my fourth album, and three mixtapes, so 7 project total.
7 total. And then Flash, how many have you released total?
Like I started off circling, so I had but that was years back. I took it like probably about a 9-year hiatus.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I did. I took a 9-year hiatus, and in doing that, I kind of like this got away, but I never stopped, doing music. Like I did jingles for podcasts, for commercials and stuff like that. But and I jumped on a few songs with Riff, a few songs with him a few times, and so on from there. But before that, I did like about 3 mixtapes, but they was all circular. I started on an album, but we got it. It's like in the archives with Heroes. It was that's when I came back to gospel, started doing gospel, but I never released it. And then after that, I went on hiatus. I started working, and you still doing music, still producing, still doing different things like that. But I was kind of like in the background, just producing.
Yeah. And you get that itch. Like I get it, man. Because even for me, if I get away from doing a podcast for a couple of weeks, I look at my wife and I'm like, I gotta get behind the mic. Okay. I gotta,
oh, yeah.
you get that feeling like you need to be able to talk. For you guys, I obviously do music and rap. So is the studio, is that what's behind you?
Yes.
Flash? Okay.
Yes. I'm in the studio right now. This where the whole album was done. And then we took it to get mixed and mastered at a bigger studio. But majority, every single song, everything was done here.
Yeah.
Is as far as recording everything, yes.
Awesome. All right, so this may be a tough question. I ask this sometimes. What's the favorite track on the album? Rifka, I go. Oh, go ahead, Flash.
I already know his. You can go ahead and say it, but I already know his. Go ahead.
Yeah, my favorite track on the album, of course, is Holy Spirit in the Room, because you have all 4 Douglas Boyz on it. It's very musical. I used to go to my uncle's church, Victoria's Living Christian in Lee City, Texas. So the beginning of it reminds me of what they used to sing this particular song all the time before he would pray for people and do the invitation to Christ and all that. So it reminds me of that. And my dad's playing the guitar. Our dad's playing the guitar on it. And I feel like I spit my best verse on Holy Spirit in the Room. But honestly, now one of my favorites is my second favorite now, if I can say that, is beginning to be All I Need.
Yeah. And that statement alone, all you need, especially in these times, like man, that's it. Like we don't have a whole lot to cling to. That is what we have to cling to specifically right now. So yeah, great point, Flash.
Now it's kind of like when you produce majority of produce, it's like they're all your babies. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Say, yeah, you're my favorite, and then that one leaves. You say, you my favorite.
Right. So, right. I hear you.
But honestly, my favorite and I can truly say one of my favorite is "Come as You Are." And the reason why I like "Come as You Are" because it's a struggle that everybody go through when they come to Christ. Mm-hmm. And in that song itself, it pretty much breaks down a sinner that's going through situations that feel he's too far from God. Right. So he don't know which direction to go. And then you hear the minister explain that, you know, God wants you just like you are. You don't have to be perfect to come to God. He don't expect for you to be perfect when you come to him. Right. And then the last verse, me and Riff do the whole verse together, and he's leading me to Christ. Wow. So, and it's actually the invitation to Christ. Literally, if you rap the song with us for the last verse, you could be led to Christ just with that verse. Yeah. And that's what we're here for. We don't do this for financial gain. We don't do this for all the rest of stuff. We do this to bring people to Christ.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the main reason. And if you ain't doing it for that, then what are you doing it for?
Yeah.
And that's why I love that song so much.
Yeah. And that's real. I mean, what are we doing our day-to-day lives for? I mean, I can relate to anybody in music and otherwise. So great point. Talk about the TikTok challenge and Rifka, I know you're active on TikTok. I was seeing a lot of the stuff on there, but let's talk about that, the Work It Out challenge that you guys got going on.
And surprisingly, I just got on TikTok because of the Douglas Boyz. I was fighting not wanting to get on TikTok for years, but my brother was like, man, you got to get on TikTok because that's where everything's going at. That's where everything's trending. So I'm enjoying working with TikTok now with the Douglas Boyz and all that. But what's going on with the challenge is it started July 1st. It's going till July 29th, and we're looking for the best TikTok dance to our song "Work It Out." The winner or winners will receive $200 total, and in order to be entered, you have to upload I guess like a 1 minute 30 second to 1 minute dance to our song on "Work It Out" on your TikTok and upload it to your Instagram as well. Tag "Work It Out" challenge in the description. Also tag the real Douglas Boyz in the description as well, so we can see it. But you also have to follow us on all our social media platforms, our Facebook, our YouTube, our Twitter, of course, TikTok, and of course, Instagram, because we're going to check. And then at the end of the month, on August 1st, we're going to post and say who the winner is on our TikTok page, and then get your Venmo or your Cash App or however you want to do that $200.
Nice. And man, TikTok is blown up. Now the thing that gets tricky with TikTok is obviously a lot of people are creating things. I don't really know if there's any way to copyright it. If you got one person that creates a dance and everybody ends up doing it, that original person, I don't know how they get credit for it, but it's social media. You really can't control like once it's out there, you know. But that's a great point. It definitely, and that's also keeping up with the times. Being an artist, I'm sure that's not easy with all the different platforms and everything coming out. So,
and keep it. And if you do the dance, keep it holy. Keep it holy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Remember, this is gospel rap. Now, come on, now, help us out now.
Yeah, but hey, don't put them in a situation, all right, where they gotta figure out which one they go pick.
We don't want no twerking and nothing like that. Now, come on, now, help us out.
Yeah. So, you guys being brothers working on this project, was there any moment in time where it kind of brought back memories? You know, being kids working on this project together. And Rifka, I'll go to you first.
Well, we met later on in life, in our lives. We met in our early 20s or whatever. So I guess the memory that comes to me when we met, when we first met, we found out we both did rap or whatever. But my skills, I was putting out music and all that, but my flow was very, very basic. So first time I played my music, I was at Flash House or whatever for him, and he was just sitting there. He was listening or whatever. But I noticed he wasn't really bobbing his head or nothing like that. He was just listening. And then when it stopped, man, he said, "Man, bro, you got to use like metaphors." You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't using nothing. I was just rapping straight. You know, so it brought back those memories of him giving me advice throughout the years, which actually made me a better rapper up until now. It brought back the memory when he told me to start using, well, I was already using entendres, but he was saying that I should use more entendres. So now that's kind of like my trademark. In a lot of my songs, I use a lot of different entendres as well. So that just reminded me of all the times in life where he would listen to my music and give me critiques and all that kind of stuff to make me a better artist.
Yeah, so you got honest. You got honest, brother. Yeah. Some people like, yeah, man, that's banging. So you need to be honest with your family. If they're struggling, be honest with them, let them know. My wife tell me all the time, hey, you talking too low, hey, looking at the camera, hey, whatever. So I mean, like, you need that person in your corner.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it was what pretty much came to mind is that, like, one thing about my brother's very, like, persistent and consistent. You know what I'm saying? He's on point, and he when he got his mind on something and he's gonna do something, trust and believe. He gonna make sure you do it and he do it. He's gonna stay on you. Like, literally, if I tell him, hey, I'm gonna do this, and then he's gonna wait probably about an hour, he's gonna text me, did you do it? He's gonna wait about another 30 minutes, he'll text me, did you do it? But one thing about it is that he took me to a level that consistency, and it bettered me. It improved me, because me, I'm the type of person, I'm more of the lackadaisical type of person, like, hey, it's gonna get done, I'm gonna take care of it, so on from there. But then working with him, like upgraded me, you know what I'm saying, brought me to a different level in how I handle my business. And that's one thing about it. And I remember that, like, back in the day, he was the same way. And he used to be like, hey, I need that verse. Like, he had an album he was putting out, and I think it was probably Mighty God. And I was working and everything like that. And he called me every day. Oh, man. You got that verse? You got that verse? You got that verse? You got that verse? I'm like, I'm gonna get it to you, bro. Just let me I'm gonna get it to you. But one thing about it, I love that about him, because he takes me to another level when it comes to taking care of my business.
Yeah, so that's it. That's important, and we all need, that person that's like, hey, you gotta get this done. Like, what are you doing? Why you're not doing this? So I definitely hear that. Let's talk about the art, the album, the graphics and the artwork. Who did that, or who contributed to that?
Well, that's me.
Okay. So you artistic and you got the production. Okay.
Let me say one thing about that before he talk. He did do it. He did it. He does a lot of stuff. My brother's very talented. He's multi-talented as well. Multi-talentedness runs in our family. But
yes,
he would run the art by me a lot of times, and I'd be like, nah, bro, I don't know about that. I think it should be a certain way and stuff, And I helped him get the vision and then he sent something. I was like, oh yeah, that's it right there. So I kind of let him know if I liked it or not. So we always make sure we like what we do.
Right.
Yeah. So like this, that, like stuff like that, we run it across each other and so on from there. But I'm the one, like, I get in there and I see a vision, and I'll run it to him and say, what you think? And then he'll be like, yeah, I like it. I'd be like, it looks a little too cartoony. Or it looks a little like, I don't really like that. And I'd be like, bro, I like it. I don't like it. I like it. I don't like it. So we'll go back and forth. And then I'll send it. Then I'll be like, something. I'm like, all right, let me see if I can meet you in the middle. So I'll find something in the middle, and I'll bring a little, because I do a few rough drafts, to try to see, okay, which direction we want to go with this. We have an idea, like what we want to do, and then we'll sit there with the idea, and then I just like take it and I just make it into reality. So
yeah. And I think one of my favorites is the one with your uncles, or your daddy uncle, excuse me, and them two standing together. That looked like a gospel album cover, like they really were doing an album together. And when I seen that, I was like, man, first off, I was wondering who is that? Then I was like, man, the way that was put together, it kind of, to me, it brought it to, like, I need to listen to this album for myself just to hear what it is. Yeah. So great job on it.
Yeah, that right there is actually like the picture. I'm trying to remember who took that picture. It was actually at our grandmother's funeral. And that's they played together that day. for our grandmother's funeral, and the picture was so like it is said so much.
Yeah.
And so what I took it, and then we sat down, we talked. We said this needs to be the album because we didn't want to put ourselves on it. We wanted to put them on it because it was a tribute to them.
Right.
So all I did was, take the picture itself that pretty much said a lot for itself, and then I just added a little pizzazz to it or whatever, put the cover on there and cleaned it up and gave it that old fashioned, old school church look to it.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I want to bring out to let people know to look at it and be like, because back in the day, you remember you used to have like the Clark sisters or the Winans
right.
and stuff like that. And that's the reason why we came with the Douglas Boyz, because that was like, give you that old fashioned like gospel, and you had the families that did stuff with each other, and they always had their name in it, and you'd be like, oh, the Clark sisters, ooh, they bringing it,
Right.
So that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to kind of give them that old fashioned feel with the new new vibe.
Yeah, well, you definitely did it with that, especially with that cover. That had me like ready to listen to this album to see, because I was like, okay, is this like them like fast forward in their lives, or this like their relatives, or what? I was thinking like, man, the creativity is definitely there. So I definitely appreciate that. And then the Douglas Boyz, the cross there, that's another one, and that's one thing I do appreciate about this album too is the artwork, because you're including everybody in it. It's not just about you guys. So that's all. That's all.
Yeah, that's one thing about it. We wanted to make sure that we grab that that artistic, just the part of this knowing that it's not just about us.
Right.
It's like we not the people that like really, we're just vessels through the Holy Spirit that God is speaking through us. So we want to, and especially like one thing about it, if you look in the Bible, a lot of times they used to talk about, take it to the elders, show the elders, put the elders first, put the elders first. And the perfect thing, honor thy parent and your life will be long.
Yeah.
That's a main like scripture that's out there. So it's like, that was the main importance, is that we want to make sure that we honor them the way they need to be honored.
Definitely. Now, any future plans on any future projects? I know this one just came out, but is there any Bridging the Gap 2, or is there anything you guys plan on working on album wise in the future? Rifka, I'll go to you first.
We discussed doing a follow-up album for the Bridging the Gap album. But first, I would like for my brother to do his solo album, his solo Christian rap album finally. Then probably the next Bridging the Gap album will come after that. That's what I think. What you guys say about that, Vic?
That's one of the things. I mean, that's in the making. Is I'm gonna drop a solo album. Probably beginning of the year, mid-December, something like that. We're gonna focus on this right now as far as the Douglas Boy album.
Yeah.
But after that, from there, then we most likely it's a very strong possibility we're doing a Bridging the Gap 2 or something on that that level.
On that line. Awesome. Well, definitely let me know, because I definitely want to get you guys back on. Let's talk about the merch that y'all got on right now. I don't know if this is y'all's or somebody else, but I like the half hood, half holy. Talk about that, and then talk about the God's peeps. Go ahead, Flash. You go first.
Actually, my wife actually bought me this shirt. Like it says half hood, half holy, and then it says that means pray with me, don't play with me. So,
okay.
So she got me this shirt, and she said and I liked it. I liked what it said, because I grew up in the hood. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about it is like this being real. Half real. I mean, you gotta think about it. Sometimes the flesh do rise up, but you gotta put it in check. So kind of like just being transparent with people. Like, we're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, and that's one thing a lot of people get the wrong perception about Christians, is that we're perfect, and we're not. We're not perfect. So, I don't know exactly what merch she got it from. Like, this is I think a t-shirt company, some company that she bought it from. I wish I could give them a plug right now, but I don't have a plug for them.
Yeah.
But it's just I like the shirt because it shows the transparency of Christians, that we're not perfect, so don't treat us like we're perfect.
Yeah, and Yeah, it's a process. You know, it's not a you don't just come and arrive. It's a process
Right.
when you're going throughout this walk. Uh, and she said power in black teas. Okay,
That's my
awesome.
wife. That's my wife right there. She just
Awesome.
put the plug. She put the
Definitely,
plug in.
definitely, right there. Well, and talk about the God's peeps right there.
Yeah, this guy, probably several years, 3 or 4 years ago, he reached out to me on Instagram and asked me if he could send me a hat, a God's Peeps hat or whatever. I said, cool. So I gave him my address. I mean, I looked at the page. He sent it to me, the snapback or whatever, and I really liked it. So, you know what I'm saying? I wear it. It's God's Peeps. I mean, at God's Peeps, that's what I believe the Instagram page is. I haven't looked at it in a while, so I hope he still has his brand, but that's where you can get these hats. And I don't wear hats a lot, but I really like this one because we God's peeps as Christians, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We
Yeah.
God's people,
Right.
so God's peeps or
Exactly.
whatever. So that's why I like wearing the hat. I
Awesome.
love wearing Christian merch and supporting other Christian people that's making things that we can wear.
Definitely, definitely. All right, so let's kind of switch gears to the sports aspect. We got the NBA Finals going on. Both of y'all
For
from
sure.
Houston. Both of y'all from Houston.
Anytime.
So are y'all
Yes, sir.
Houston everything? Flash, I'm gonna go to you. Are you Houston everything in all sports?
All day, baby. All day. You know what I'm saying? Eight time to the end. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of a little salty right now because regardless of the fact that ex-Houston Rockets going to win the championship, so I'm like,
you giving it to him already?
So I'm like, I know what I'm saying. Ex-Houston Rocket, you got
Oh,
Tucker and you
yeah,
got
that's true.
Paul.
That's
So
true.
regardless of the fact, anywhere it go, an ex-Rocket is gonna win a championship.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of I'm a little salty about it, but I got a little smile on my face because James Harden didn't. So
Hey, yeah, that's a
funny.
lot. That's a whole another podcast right there, James Harden. But I'll say this: Chris Paul, man, has put in the work. I know
yeah.
when he got traded to OKC, I was like, this dude's basically about to just retire there, and he didn't do that. He basically took them into the bubble. I don't know if they made it to the bubble or to the playoffs, but
Right.
they played a lot better than what I thought. So, hats off to CP3.
Oh yeah, he's the truth. He's the truth.
Yeah.
One thing about CP3 when he came here, if he would have never got hurt that conference championship that we had, we would have won the championship that year.
Yeah.
You got to think about it. He's a leader. He's a true floor leader. You don't have too many people like that can take a team and bring them together. Like the Suns was, I honestly tell you the truth, the Suns was 2 to 3 years out.
Yep.
Straight up, 2 to 3 years out. As soon as they added CP3. Fast forward into now.
Yeah.
You bring that tells you the impact that he has on the team.
Yeah, and also people, I think they asked Devin Booker this, like, do you like his style? And he was like, it's not for everybody. So that means he butts heads because he pushes you to be your absolute best.
Yes.
If you look at DeAndre Ayton was probably like fast, like you're saying, he was probably a couple years away, but he kind of pushed up that progress and kind of where they are right now. So I hope that they do win it. I like Giannis just because, the guy's story. But the fact is, the dude has to do everything. Like, unless he's not playing, then all of a sudden they all start showing up. That's the part that Megan, my wife, be mad. Like, why not they playing like when Giannis was out? I was like, I don't know. They like stood back and was like, okay, Giannis, you just do it, and we'll pitch in where we can. But that's not gonna win a championship. That's the problem. But go ahead.
Go ahead, Riff.
Oh, am I Houston? I'm definitely Houston everything as well. I'm not necessarily salty because the Rockets will be back. You know what I'm saying? I ain't worried about that. But I'm glad Chris Paul is gonna finally get his championship, I believe, because they already up 2-0, and he really deserves it, man. He put in work while he was here. I got on a Chris Paul jersey, Houston Chris Paul jersey right now. You know what I'm saying? I love Chris Paul. I can never wrap my mind around. I had like a love-hate relationship with James Harden. I mean, if you play for my Rockets, I love you, but I didn't really like the way he played. But Chris Paul is a true baller and a true leader, and he took the Oklahoma City Thunder against 7 games against the Rockets in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or was it? I think it was the first round. I think it was the first round of the playoffs last year.
Yeah, first round.
Yeah. So, that just proves whatever team he goes to, he makes them better. I'm not really a LeBron fan, but really the only 2 players in the NBA that take a team to the playoffs you know what I'm saying, and far in the playoffs and instantly make them better is LeBron James and Chris Paul.
Yep. Because when you see a team with LeBron, you automatically put them in the playoffs. You have to, just because him alone, if he's healthy, that was their problem this year. So the Suns, I applaud them for taking advantage of this opportunity, because if the Lakers were fully healthy, they would be in the finals. Or something. You got to pencil them in there
all day.
AD and LeBron, and neither one of them were fully healthy. But I think a lot of people see Chris Paul as a dirty player. Which, look, if he played in the 80s and 90s, that would have been the norm. That would have been dirty. But now, because he's playing in this era, they're making it seem like, oh, he's so dirty.
Yeah. You know that back in the day. Come on, let's talk about Rick Mahorn. You had
Lambeer,
the whole
Isaiah Thomas,
the whole Detroit Pistons. We're gonna talk about Hakeem before he was Hakeem. You know what I mean? No, he was a king. You can't. I mean, Charles Barkley, Malone, Dennis Rodman. I mean, you had some dogs back in the day. They were some dogs.
Yeah. Now they would clothesline you with the quickness too.
Oh yeah, quick, fast, and hurry. It was a totally different game. It's like half the time you barely go to the goal. You get a foul call. Back in the day, you had to go to the goal and you had to meet that big dude in the middle. And if you didn't dunk on him, you was going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
But now it's like you barely touch somebody or you barely clip them a little bit or touch them. It's a foul. So it's a totally different game. That's why it's like a lot of people kind of compare, LeBron with Jordan, but you can't. Yeah. You can't.
It's different.
You can't compare them. Different eras. It's different type of game. You know what I'm saying? You can't. A lot of things that you have now, you can't. But I want to answer that question about Giannis, right? Like Middleton gonna have to come on with it. I mean, if they want to be in it, he needs a Robin. You can't do it. You got a Batman and Robin. You got to have a Robin.
You need a Pippen.
Yeah, exactly. You need a Pippen. You got to have a Pippen. And if Middleton don't step up, they're gonna lose, and they're gonna lose bad.
That whole team went missing. I haven't looked at the stats exactly, but if I pull it up, I guarantee you the rest of them had less than probably 15 points. You can't. Yeah, and Giannis is playing on a knee. Obviously, his knee he's not fully healthy. I don't know what percentage it is. I don't know what the extent of the injury. Brian, I can hear about it till the NBA Finals is over with. But this dude is playing on 1.5 legs, basically, and he can't get no help from his team. And so, going into this, I kind of figured the Suns was going to win this. I'm not necessarily shocked that they're up 2-0. I do think Milwaukee will probably get one. I think that's probably just fair because they're about to go back to Milwaukee, but this is probably going to be over in 5, and that's unfortunate. But it is what it is. Back to the James Harden thing. I got to touch on this. With you being in Houston, Flash, what was the story? I'm in Dallas, so I hear some of the stuff, but I know you actually being there. He looked like he was wearing a fat suit or a pillow or something. I couldn't tell, but what was the deal with him?
He was really out of shape. He came back out of shape. You could tell he didn't do anything. You could tell he wasn't planning on coming back to Houston, period. And it just so happened that, checks started to get involved. And, it's like, okay, let me go get this check. But he wasn't in he came out of quarantine like
quarantine 15.
Quarantine 15 pounds heavier. He came out of quarantine. He wasn't even ready. And we kind of know. Then he got on the court and he half played. He really want to play. We had John Wall. They tried to build a team around him. He just didn't want to be here. Yeah. That's just what it was. And then he played it out and then he started talking crazy like that last interview he had. Oh man, that was crazy. Like who says that? Like who says that? And it's like, and then at the time, I think we had Wall, we had Boogie Cousins, we had Wood,
Christian Wood.
Yeah, we had Wood and all that stuff that we had a team to build off of. We would have made the play. I think we would have made the playoffs if he would have stayed. Yeah. But it's just, but he wanted to jump on the coattails of of Durant and them, and I'm like, and Kyrie Irving. It's like, come on now you. I knew right off the bat, like the Nets wasn't going to win the championship because neither one of them could stay healthy. It wasn't going to happen. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I knew they was going to get to a point that one of them's going to get hurt, and then it was going to be done from there. Because and then you're going to go get Griffin like he was going to be the savior, and that come on now, that wasn't going to happen.
They tried to piecemeal a team. They tried to buy their way to a championship, and it doesn't work out. Now it did work out for Miami. I do think they'll eventually win a championship once they because KD is he's already one of the best players. If Kyrie can have one healthy year, that'll probably be the year.
Right.
But I think Kyrie's that's a whole nother separate topic. But I think Kyrie's not even really focused. He's focused on basketball because that's his job, but he's focused on all the other things going on outside of basketball, which that's gonna pull away. That's gonna pull away, from what you're doing.
Like you said, the earth is flat.
Exactly. But Rivka, give me your thoughts on how you felt about the whole Harden situation.
I was just ready for him to go. I was relieved once he did leave. I did have false hope, thinking that he was gonna stay at first when he came back and played and all that. But then I realized he just really didn't want to be here or whatever. So I was relieved, and I was actually, honestly, I was rooting for him because he did put in work. He kept us relevant the whole time he was here. We was in the playoffs and stuff like that. So I have to respect that. He carried the team on his own for a long time. So I was hoping that he would possibly finally get his championship, but he didn't pull it through even with the Nets. Because if he would have played up to at least half of what KD played, you know what I'm saying, they probably would have won that series. But he didn't, and it shows that he's not a leader. He can't help a team win a championship. And I don't even think I'd be surprised if he ever wins a championship, honestly.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about this era of the NBA where basically the players run it at this point? Anybody that says otherwise is not watching basketball, because if you look at every situation, if the player don't want to be there, he's going to figure out a way to get out of that situation. I think Dame Dollar may be heading down that direction. Now, I think he got Chauncey Billups, so that probably cooled down that situation. But what do y'all think about this era of players first and everybody else pretty much second? Flash?
I mean, at the moment in time now, I think that, you really think about it, basketball is a little different. Like football, you got 11 players, you got 53-man roster, It's like you got to kind of spread around it. It's not too many, one person could change a team.
Right.
NBA, one person changes the team completely. Like you put one person on the team and they could change, and not just change your team as far as wins and losses, change your team to who the butts in the seats.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Almighty Dollar.
Exactly. So that's the main thing. And they're thinking okay, I'm going to go ahead and not really bow down, but go ahead and agree with this person to come to us for this amount. But one thing about it is that they know they're going to reap there's going to be a profit on that person that's going to outweigh everything they asked for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, so it's going to be a players' league. It's been a players' league for a long time. Only thing about it is that it was only certain players. Now it's a lot of players. Yeah. Back in the day with Jordan, when Jordan, you had who had a crazy contract back in the day? Iverson, when he had his contract, he had a crazy contract. Kobe, Shaq, all of them had crazy contract, but it was only going to a few people. And then when they had the agreement, they went on had the agreement and changed the agreement of the contracts. Then they was able to give away more money. Then it opened up, it's kind of like MLB. Come on.
The money, wow. Look, public service announcement. If you want your kid to play a sport, don't go football, go baseball all the way. Baseball or soccer.
Yeah, they make a lot of money.
Baseball or soccer, and soccer is international. Baseball is international too, but they play 162 games, and that's what mainly equals how much they get paid. But plus, there's not a lot of injuries in baseball unless you step on the bag wrong or unless you trip over something. But other than that, PSA.
Half the time you standing still.
Yeah, especially if you play in the outfield. You may not get a ball hit to you for 3 or 4 innings.
Yeah.
Don't have a great pitcher, it's over. Only thing you got to make sure is your batting average stays up. That's about it.
That's it.
I mean, hands down. But basketball, they deserve what they get. I believe so. They deserve what they get. I don't like the way they do it because as fans we don't like it because we see our favorite player leave.
Right.
Like you be sick. I'm a big jersey guy, so I buy jerseys and stuff like that. And I'd be highly upset when I buy a jersey and the dude leaves. And I'm like, well, I got this jersey that's sitting here, and I can't use this jersey. You know what I mean? I can't walk out this jersey. I try to wear it, but they're like, that boy wearing that old
that old Harden jersey. It's a throwback. Right. Hey, I just tell him, hey, it's a throwback now.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
But go ahead, Riffico. What's your thoughts?
I mean, it feels, the thing about it, a good point is those people that he named back in the day, they were built differently mentally, though. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't always trying to team up with everybody to win a championship. They wanted to play against those best players. You know what I'm saying? They got their contract out of, but they stayed with their team most of the time of their career. You know, Kobe stayed with the Lakers the whole time. Jordan stayed with the Bulls until that general manager started tripping. You know, he went to go, you know, he came back and went to the Wizards, but he would have stayed. I believe he would have stayed this whole career too. You know, so they were built differently mentally back in the day, and they didn't want to leave their team. But they do deserve what they get, because they only got a certain amount of years to play the sport, you know, till that they grew up playing and stuff like that, and put a lot of time and effort into. But the way they do it, I mean, ain't nothing we can really do about it, man. Ain't nothing we can really do about it except for just roll with it, you know.
No, you're right. One of the main things that happened this week is a young man, I believe he's 17 years old, and he got a contract to play in the I think it's Overtime Elite. It's basically going to be this new league for teenagers. So they completely changed the NCCA. I'm sure you guys, I don't know if you guys heard about that or not, but they're going to start getting paid on their likeness. And I wanted to kind of get you guys' thoughts on that, because the NCAA has been basically, they figured out how to not pay professional athletes. Because if you look at any major game, 9 times out of 10, it's going to have the star quarterback for one team, the star quarterback for the other team. Let's say had Zion on one side and whoever Zion's playing, the star player. And they're not really they get the education, but they could be getting a lot more than that, because that's what's bringing money to the school. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. Flash, if you got a comments.
You know, that actually started, like, you remember back in the day, the Ed O'Bannon brothers? Brothers?
Yep, Charles and Ed,
Yeah, that's what it started off with. It started off with they was having a basketball game, and they had so many likeness like that, and they actually sued the video game companies and stuff like that, and then it ended up flowing all the way to now. All the years ago.
All the many years ago.
It came to fruition, you know. And I don't really trip about that, because I'm like, I mean, they deserve a little bit more. I mean, you got them selling their jerseys. You got these people going out here and they're making all this money off these kids and so on from there. And then you got the coach making $12 to $30 million. And it's like, come on now, you got to give these kids a little more. And then they go out there and they barely get somebody take them out to eat, and all of a sudden they suspended. You know what I'm saying? Like come on. Come on, you can't do these kids like that. I understand some of the crazy stuff, like when it gets outrageous, but I'm like, because you shouldn't like have a kid and be like, yo, I'll buy your car and a house, come to our school. I don't think that works like that. But once they get there and you making all this money off of them, then you need to give them a little something to be able to do something, but they won't go out there and do nothing stupid, you know?
Right, exactly. And Rifka, I'll go to you on that.
Yeah, I agree. I've been feeling like they should be making money and stuff, because a lot of these universities, their major funding is coming from the athletic department. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's the case. Honestly, I hate to use this term, but they've been pimping these student athletes for way too long. You know what I'm saying? And then they can barely get food. They struggling like regular college students to find something to eat or to get clothes and stuff like that. So that's not cool. So I'm very happy that they're gonna start paying these athletes a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Because they're selling their jerseys, even though their name might not be on it, but they number on it. So
it's their number. You know who it is.
You got them in the video game, is their number. So you know they should be making money. And then maybe since that's going on, maybe more high school athletes will go to college and stay for the full 4 years like they did back in the day, instead of having all these one and dones.
Right. That's realistic.
Like a prime example, you remember back in the day when Cam Newton got kicked out of Florida?
Yep.
For stealing a laptop? Like,
you know, somebody would have gave that to him. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. You got a NCAA like national champion, right? Yep. For Auburn, stealing a laptop. Now come on. And he was recruited highly coming out of high school.
Oh yeah.
So and then he had to go to Blinn, and then he went from Blinn, and then he went to Auburn. So like you gotta think about that. Like these kids are like doing. You see so many great athletes do some stupid stuff just to have something.
Yeah.
and they're like the number one player on the team or one of the number one players on the team. It's like crazy. Like I think of that team, that Florida team, that what they would have had, because at the time they had Cam Newton and they had Tebow. They had
Hernandez, I think, at that time.
They had a squad. You know what I mean? And then he got kicked out of school. So like a lot of stuff like that, you think about how many people would have stayed in college and how many people wouldn't have got kicked out. How many people would have like been able to really do something in college instead of just trying to scrap for like little pennies and stuff like that and doing stupid stuff.
Yeah, and a prime example for this whole point we're talking about is a movie called Safety. If any of y'all have seen it on Disney Plus, basically it talks about the kid from Clemson that brought his little brother to school with him.
Yeah, I think I even saw it, but I didn't know what you're talking about.
I watched that, and they were helping. That a lot of people were helping him out, and they were like, "Well, you can't do that." And he's like, "I didn't even ask for the help. Like they're giving me a ride, and I didn't even ask for it." So, like that's a prime example. Like there has to be like a realistic line. You can't just draw lines because that's the rule. Because the rule's old at this point. Like it's so ancient. And the one thing I've heard is that most of the time the highest state employee is normally the football coach in that state, and that's wild. Like that alone tells me that is obviously the king of the hill. It's definitely in Texas. Football is everything. So I definitely get it. So man, it's beyond, it's past due, and they need to get broken off because they're the ones that are basically paying these people that are on in the school, the boosters, and so I mean it's about time. So I'm happy for it.
At least give them an allowance. You know what I mean? Give them some type of allowance. Like even if it's a simple allowance of saying, okay, we're gonna give you $1,000 a week, or we're gonna give you something like that to at least hold on to something and be able to do what you need to do. And because you gotta think about it, once they have their tuition and they have pretty much their room and board and so on from there. And you say, okay, we give you an education for, say, for example, $70,000. Because that's what they're saying. At first, they tried to say, okay, we give you $70,000 worth of education. You know what I mean? And half of them ain't even staying the 4 years.
Exactly. So what are you really giving me at the end of the day? If you saying it's education, but I'm not staying here because I know I can make more money somewhere else, then at the end of the day, what are you really giving me? And I think that's the $1 million question. Now I want to kind of switch gears on this last question before I let you guys go. We talked about prayer earlier, and DMX passed away. Was that last month or the month before? That obviously in our era growing up, there was a lot of different rappers, but DMX kind of put a stamp on hip hop, just the way his grittiness, and that's the only rapper that ever barked on an album ever. But give me any thoughts if you have any on DMX and kind of how do you feel about that and your thoughts on his career. And Flash, I'll go to you first.
DMX was I give him a number of respect. He was a Christian. I mean, he went through everything that Christian goes through. I mean, one thing about it, if you go and look a lot of stuff of his documentaries and stuff like that, he loved God. And he was battling with himself. Mm-hmm. But one thing about it, he was very good at what he did. I mean, one thing about it, he had a very unique style. Like you haven't heard a style like that since.
Yeah.
Like his style was so unique that you knew once DMX got on the track, you knew his sound, you knew who he was. You didn't have to second guess it. Like you knew DMX came in there because halftime, like you said, he was gonna bark.
Yeah.
He was gonna bark. He was gonna let you know that he's there. But one thing about it is that if you watch his documentaries and look at the behind the scenes, he was a very, very very close to God as far as praying and so on for life. But he had struggles. Yeah. He had many struggles. He had a drug addiction. You know what I mean? And he ended up having a drug addiction at a very young age because somebody brought him drugs. Somebody he trusted.
Yeah.
Brought him drugs.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off, but that story was wild. I did not know that's how it went down. But yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's crazy that somebody he truly trusted gave him drugs at a young age and he couldn't keep the addiction, and then going through that, and then he was praying and he was going through a lot. He was dealing with stuff. But one thing about it is that if you talk to DMX, one thing he always said, he said he loved God. And he said he's not perfect and he's trying to get to where he needs to get to. But he did love God. So
yeah. And the one thing I'll add to that too is in his music, you talked about his struggle. You could hear his struggle in his music. Like people just thought, oh, that's his words. He just, he just rapping about stuff he heard. That was the internal struggles he was having. And I think also the point that people around him, I don't know how it really went down, but how many people were really like, wow, we need to try to help him, or people was like, oh, that's just X. We just let him do his thing. He always come back, or he always figure out, So that's all. That's the thing too. Like that was his music. His music was his struggle. That was probably his outlet. I'm assuming too.
Mm-hmm.
But
one thing about it. I'm sorry, Riff. Let me say one more thing. One thing about it is that if you listen to a lot of the rappers that was in the game, he actually prayed for them.
Mm-hmm.
So but go ahead, Riff.
It just showed his heart was close to God.
Right.
Now he had issues, obviously, but he would tell you that, hey, I got issues, but this is the person I'm praying to that's helping me through these issues. When I don't deserve it, he would say that a lot. I don't deserve it, but you still there.
Right.
Yeah, I used to listen to DMX coming up when he was in his heyday. Was actually when I was in high school, and he was like, if I could remember correctly, he was like the first secular rapper or whatever that would pray at the beginning of all his albums. He started off with prayer, and I really appreciated that. Then fast forward a little bit, he went through his struggles or whatever. Then he came back. A lot of people may not remember he was actually doing Christian rap for a little while. I remember they had a BET Awards probably back in 2006 or 2005, and he was out there with a choir and he was rapping, and they had that on he was rapping one of his songs. I forgot the name of the song or whatever. And he made a few other Christian rap songs and stuff too. So I was very happy to see that. But thing everybody got to realize, what I'm saying? He was definitely a Christian. But what they got to realize as Christians, we all deal with something. Mm-hmm. His something was a drug addiction. Other people, something might be a porn addiction. Other people, something might be homosexuality. Other people, something might be gluttony. You never know what it is. Everybody's dealing with something. You know what I'm saying? So that's when you realize about DMX. But he was struggling, and he was trying to get himself right with God and all that good stuff. And I'm sure because he prayed at the beginning of his albums, because he talked about Christ, if you watch his YouTube videos and stuff like that, I'm sure people that probably brought people to Christ or got people to start looking into Christ because of him. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely did what his calling was, by doing that.
Yeah, I think he fulfilled his mission at the end of it. At the end of it all. Well, yeah, that one definitely caught me off guard because I didn't know the story of his close friend basically lacing some marijuana with that, and then from there on he became addicted at a very young age. So definitely, rest in peace to DMX. I think that was another rapper in our era of growing up. I was in high school too. I remember that. Another one gone. So we just gotta appreciate the time we have, man, and the people that are around us. Yeah. All right. So the Douglas Boyz new album, Bridging the Gap, you can find it on YouTube. You can, like you said, Amazon, and other platforms. Let them know where they can find and follow both of you guys. Any other last minute comments you want to give? Rifika, I'll go to you first.
Okay, you can find us on all social media platforms as The Real Douglas Boyz. The only one we're a little different on is on Twitter. We're at Real Douglas Boyz on Twitter. If you want to contact us to get in touch with us for interviews or for shows and things like that, hit us up on The Real Douglas Boyz at gmail.com, and we'll get back with you as soon as possible.
Awesome. And Flash Victorious.
He said it all. I don't have anything to say about it. I just really appreciate you giving us time and giving us your platform to be able to discuss our new album, and we really appreciate that, and we thank you for that. And, it's like one of those things that, like in the word, it says somebody that brings you to their home and they treat you right, you bless them. So we're gonna bless you, brother.
Appreciate that. Thank you. All of their links are in the description of the show. So all of their social media, everything's there. So thank you guys for coming on, Rifika. Thank you for reaching out. I'm glad we were able to make this happen. So coming up, we'll have the video of Work It Out, and also we'll have you guys are dropping new videos. Let me know. I'll definitely play it on the show. But appreciate you guys coming on. Have a good rest of your night and weekend.
All right, thanks, bro. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. insanity. So praise him, lift his name on high as if there were no gravity. Worship while you go through trials and tribulations gallantly. God can be found within our praises, inhabiting. Psalms 22:3. Your situation changes gradually. Yeshua sees you wrestling with that thing rapidly. Don't try to be macho man, handling it by yourself. Just look to the hills from which cometh your help. Your help coming from the Lord. Psalms 121:1-2. Them burdens he gon' bear. You know he gon' come through. If he did it before, we gon' do it again. You gon' be testifying for all of your friends. Just like a single games, he always winning. Because he always win, we always win. We always win. I know he working it out. He gon' work it out. Jesus working it out. No matter what it's about. He gon' work it out. God working it out. He gon' work it out.
He gon' work it out. He gon' work it out. Jesus gon' work it out.
We got 24/7 ain't stressing. I'ma just walk into my blessing. He work it out like a math question. I'm in his class waiting for my lesson. Ain't no words, ain't no worries. I'm looking for the three like Steph Curry. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit heard me. No weapon for me gets me 2 stories. I hear my knees pray like every day. I know it sounds simple, yet cliche. I read my Bible like his own replay. He's my master Sufu, he's my sensei. He run through my problems like a relay. That's why I'm on top like a toupee. Tie tight with the law like a shoelace. He'll work it out no matter where you face. So I keep on grinding. I know that I'm fine and I know that he's working it out. You may see me dancing, the jumping, the prancing. Don't mind the way that I shout. Your boys just saved, no longer the ways of sin. I'm changing my route. Jesus highways, giving them praise. Know what I'm talking about. Now I'm going Super Saiyan like I'm Goku. And eating up the world like it's Whole Foods. Can't live on bread alone, need those too. Every word from the Lord is so true. Now time to work it out like 1, 2. Now 3, 4. Now 1 more. He carry my weight, never gets old. He gon' work it out for sure.
He gon' work it out. He gon' work it out. Jesus gon' work it out. He gon' work it out. He gon' work it out. He gon' work it out. Jesus gon' work it out. He gon' work it out.
We always win. I know he working it out. He gon' work it out. Jesus working it out. No matter what it's about. He gon' work it out. God working it out. He gon' work it out.
He gon' work it out. He gon' work it out. Jesus gon' work it out. He gon' work it out. He gon' work it out. He gon' work it out. Jesus gon' work it out. He gon' work it out.
He'll work it out for me. He'll work it out for me. He'll work it out for me.
All right, shout out to the Douglas Boyz with that track called Work It Out. The ending of that track was definitely, I love that ending part of it that brought that old school music and sound to it. Flash Victorious with the production. You've seen him and his brother that were on the show just a couple of minutes ago. Great job, man, especially with the album and the way they put it together. That's the video there. Make sure to go to their YouTube channel as well. You'll see all the links, like I said, in the description. So coming up in a few minutes, we'll have my cousin. He is a personal stylist. We're talking about what he does with his business, and you'll see his link down below here in just a minute. It's TracyKillianStyling.com, so you can check that out. I wanted to get into a couple of sports topics before I bring him on from the week. We got UFC 264 going on right now. Conor McGregor and Poirier, and looking forward to that. But I will say this. If Conor does not win this fight, I think his UFC career is over. I think he might as well go back to boxing, because at this point, you can't continue to get whooped in the UFC and expect Dana White to continue to hold on to you. So we'll see what happens. If anything goes down, I'll give you an update with that. Also, the UFC gets a major deal with Crypto.com in the low 9 figures. So we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars at this point. know that they'll be the first to sell space on fighters' walkout and engage gear. So I expect UFC to move in this direction because you want to move ahead of the times. You don't want to be behind the times. Crypto is where it is. Will I participate in crypto? Probably not, but I know a lot of people are, and that's a great idea. And I think with the UFC and Dana White, they're looking to make everything lucrative. So if they can put a floor mat, if they can put something on somebody's gear, clothes around the octagon, whatever it may be, they will do whatever it takes to bring that money in, and that's understandable. Moving on to NBA, obviously we got the NBA Finals going on, Suns up 2-0. But one other story is that Adam Silver says having over 1 million fans during playoffs has helped with the financial losses during COVID, which I get it. I mean, you got to recoup some of that money. Realistically, the sport industry is about money. You thought it was about the fans, but it's really not. It's about money because that's how they pay the players. And they're expected to continue to play in tournament, which I kind of like it and don't like it because, you have players that are on the edge with the potential to get into the playoffs. It's going to give you more publicity for the NBA, but it kind of is becoming like that participation trophy that you give the 8th, 9th, and 10th, when it comes to, track or something for kids. So, I mean, to a certain point, I think you got to cut it off, which I get it. They're trying to recoup money. So I think it's smart to make money, obviously, but I don't want to see it forever. The crazy story with Rachel Nichols, if you heard about this with ESPN, she was talking a little bit too much. Somebody recorded the conversation, and she was talking about how the other female that's on the post game and pregame was getting a little bit too much love from ESPN, and she didn't agree with that. And that's Maria Taylor, and she came out with all these type of comments, talking about if you want to give her opportunities, just don't give her those opportunities on during the NBA Finals. And my thing to Rachel is that you're still getting your regular stuff that you do. So why are you putting a jab at this young lady here that's basically killing it? ESPN sees that she's killing it. She is a woman of color, and obviously they're going to be sliding more in that direction because that is the way it's going. And they already given major publicity and major contract to Stephen A. And you need diversity. You need it. It's necessary during this time. So Rachel Nichols, who's not going to be on the NBA Finals coverage, she's probably still going to be on Jump. I think it's called Jump Up or Jump Off that they do the NBA thing. So look, just stop talking. You're both getting paid pretty good money to talk about sports. So leave the girl alone. Move on with your life. Luka supposedly on July 6th was given a day here in Dallas. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I like Luka. I'm a Luka fan, but I don't agree with giving him a day. What has Luka done to get a day? Yes, he's played great. Yes, he's one of the greatest players on a Mavs roster because the Mavs really haven't had that many besides Dirk and Mark Aguirre, Michael Finley. You can name a couple probably on two hands, but I think Luka's getting too much praise too early, and I think we do this to a lot of players. Number one, we did it to Paul George. Paul George is a great player, but Paul George, I don't consider him a top 10 or 15 player in the league currently. And I think we're doing the same thing to Luka. So they didn't give Dirk a day till the end of his career, and they're giving Luka a day right now. Like, come on, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Rifka checking in to check out the rest of the show. Appreciate that, Rifka. Thank you for popping back in. So let's go to game one of the finals. CP3 does his thing. Has a pretty dominant performance, 32-9. I was completely shocked that Giannis even played the way his knee looked, but he did come out there and play. I thought he looked great. I was surprised, but I guess the knee injury wasn't as bad, or he's playing through pain. Or the other option is they just gave him a really good shot at something, and he's just able to play through it. Darko Saric is out for the rest of the playoffs. He tore his ACL. Also, Torrey Craig got injured in game 2. I am interested to see what is the update on him. I'm actually going to look it up right now and see. That said light practice, uncertain for game 3. So it looks like no structural damage. So it sounds like he's in the same boat as Giannis. He's a bench player. You know, you can give them some quality minutes, but at the end of the day, all they really need is CP3 and Devin Booker to show up. Cameron Payne doing this thing too. So one of the highlights of game 1 for Milwaukee, even though they did not win, if you didn't see this, was a block by Giannis. He's running down the floor, trailing behind Mikal Bridges, ends up blocking it against the glass, kind of similar to the Andre Iguodala block, you know, during the or LeBron block on Andre Iguodala a couple years back. But Phoenix wins game 1. They also win game 2. Game 2 was extremely dominant. Like Milwaukee they got to pick it up. You cannot just depend on Giannis to do everything. That is not going to win you a championship, plain and simple. All of those listening on the Facebook page, on the BS3 Radio Facebook page group, make sure to please follow those directions in the description of the show, because I will not be able to see who you are, but being you cannot play around with this. I don't know, something just happened with my internet there, but you cannot play around and expect to win a championship. You just can't. You can't take this lightly, because you never know when or if you will ever come back. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and the Suns are clearly taking advantage of it, and Milwaukee is not. Big shout out to Cameron Johnson, former North Carolina Tar Heel. You know, I'm ride or die Tar Heels. He's been getting some key minutes. Has he been scoring a lot of points? No. But has he been D'ing up on Giannis? Yes. And he's also been diving for some balls, doing some great things. Mikal Bridges with a great game in game 2. I know he had double-digit points. Let me pull it up exactly. But he's this is a guy that has truly stepped up when the chips are on the floor, if you may, or when you need to pick up the pace. That is exactly what he's been doing. Mikal Bridges, former Villanova Wildcat, really doing his thing. I like the way this guy plays. I think he is showing that he is probably going to get a big payday eventually. He dropped 27. Chris Paul had 23. Devin Booker had 31. And that was impressive. And my question to the Milwaukee Bucks is, players around Giannis went missing, or did Giannis take over? That's my question to those of you listening too. Did the players just give in and say, let Giannis do his thing because he's the only way we're going to win? Or did they just go missing? Because my biggest thing is, how do you have Chris Middleton, who's supposed to be a number 2, score 11 points in the NBA Finals game? How do you have Brook Lopez score 8? How do you have PJ Tucker's not a scorer, so I get that. But you got Drew Holiday scoring 17 with 7 assists. That's okay for Jeff Teague. That is not okay for Holiday. And then Pat Connaughton with 14 off the bench. Like, come on. Like I said, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Courtney says it's crazy how the big 3, Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday, don't always click together. That's true. And the funniest part about that comment you just made is that it's only when Giannis doesn't play when the rest of the team clicks. You just can't do that and expect to win a championship. I'm a big fan of Giannis, but Giannis cannot win this whole thing by himself because the Suns are just so deep. So 118-108, the Suns win. Game 3 tomorrow. I'm predicting Milwaukee to get a win in one of these games in Milwaukee. I do not expect them to win both. I think the fans will definitely give them a boost and a push. But other than that, I don't see it really going great for them. It's either Giannis dominating one game, then Middleton and Drew Holiday playing well, hardly ever together. Yeah, that's true. If Giannis doesn't dominate, they don't win. But in the words of Coming to America, that don't even matter because Giannis dominated and they still lost because Drew Holiday didn't do anything and Middleton went missing. So again, it goes back to the point where you have to take advantage of this. I don't know what you have to do. I'm not their coach. I'm not going to pretend to be their coach. But Middleton's got to do more. Sorry. Drew Holiday's got to do more. The bench has got to do more. That's just a simple fact of it. Because this, again, the Suns, their entire starting five was in double digits. Aiden had 10. Drew Holiday had 11. Mikal Bridges had 27. Chris Paul had 23. And Booker had 31. You go to the other side, you got 3 out of the 5 players in double digits. PJ with 7. Brick Lopez with 8. If you go rewind back to the previous game, they were all over the place. I mean, not the previous game. The game they had to win to beat the Hawks, they were all over the place. And they played as if they wanted to win the game. The last 2 games, they didn't play as if they wanted to win. And that's unfortunate. Middleton is not Batman for those who said he was. Facts, straight facts. He is not. He is he's Robin's cousin or something. That's what he is. He's not even a Robin. Like at this point, he's so wishy-washy. I don't know. You can't depend on this guy. And I hate to be that person to hate on him, but you can't depend on a guy that's supposed to be your number 2. And when you look to him to shoot a jumper, he looks lost or he doesn't score more than 11 points. That's a no-go. So that's the NBA Finals. I had something playing in my ear from the ESPN website, but that's the NBA Finals. Let's talk about this Olympics topic real quick, which is understandable. They banned Sha'Carri Richardson. She was left off. We already knew she wasn't going to the Olympics, but she was also left off the relay team after the marijuana test. I figured that this was going to happen. If you don't have her run the 100, you're probably not going to have her do the relay, so I'm not completely shocked there. What I will say about the story, and I said this on Courtney Harden's show, this rule is outdated. It's just plain and simple. If marijuana is legal in the majority of states in the United States of America, how do you say you can't run in the Olympics because you smoked marijuana? Like that doesn't make sense. The same thing with the NFL. The same thing with all sports altogether. You cannot continue to say that, oh, it's legal in your actual state, but that's the rule that's in the NFL. Who's the NFL? So I think this is going to get changed. There's 2 sides to this, though, because she knew what she was doing. That's the other side of it. So she knew what she was doing. She did it anyway. So she's willing to take the consequences, which she is doing. But I will say this is something that she will definitely come back stronger from. I think when the next Olympics or probably the world, the world championships, she'll be 100% ready to go. And you will not hear about this story ever again from her because she was hurting during that time too. People grieve in different ways. I can't tell someone how to grieve, but also she did know the consequences. So she was a big girl. She came to the interview on the Today Show or Good Morning America, whatever one it was, and she said, I knew what I was doing and I accept what I did. So that's being a grown-up, accepting what you did and moving on with your life. And I think she'll come back even stronger. So looking forward to that. One other thing I wanted to touch on was Trevor Lawrence signs his rookie deal. No surprise there. I'm glad he did. We'll see what he does. We'll see what he does in the NFL. NFL is completely different from college. I honestly don't care what he did at Clemson. I want to see what he's going to do because it looks like he's going to start week 1 for Jacksonville. And the last thing was that Wimbledon star gets upset. I thought I had this on my notes. But he gets upset. He's no longer in the Wimbledon tournaments. Let me look it up here. Was it Djokovic or Roger Federer? Actually, he was number 6, and Herbert Hurkacz is no longer. It actually beat Federer So Wimbledon's going to be interesting. Serena is not in it as well. So we're going to see what happens there. What did you think about Rachel Nichols, Maria Taylor story? I talked about that. And I think you got to be careful where you're talking. There's this thing that everyone has these days called a phone. And with that phone, you can record any conversation. You can record anything. And Rachel Nichols got caught slipping. And to me, that just shows the hate that she has, not only for a colleague, but also a colleague of color. Because Maria Taylor is Black and she is getting a lot of opportunities because she is killing it. And because she is doing a great job. And because ESPN knows that you have to give opportunities equally. You cannot just give an opportunity to Rachel Nichols because she's been there. She's doing, this is the point I don't understand. She's doing sideline reporting. What are you crying about? You have a show that's about the NBA and you're whining that Maria Taylor is getting an opportunity. Stop hating, move on with your life. You have an opportunity along yourself. I think it's hate. I think it's unnecessary hate for somebody that's younger than you probably. 9 times out of 10, which I'm going to look it up right now, I believe Maria Taylor is probably younger than Rachel Nichols. So I think Maria Taylor's 34. Let's look at Rachel Nichols. She's probably feeling like my time is running out. Rachel Nichols is 47, which honestly, yes, your time is running out. Sorry. That's just the way it is. They're not going to continue to have a 50-year-old doing sideline reporting or continuing to do things forever. People may not want to hear that, but it's just the facts. The younger people are going to get more opportunities than the older. Rachel Nichols should have had beef with ESPN management, not Maria Taylor. Exactly. If you have beef with someone, that's your management or your boss, go to your boss in private and talk about this. Don't say in a conversation that obviously somebody was recording that you don't like the opportunities that your colleague is getting, because it's going to come back to bite you. That was surprising regarding Rachel Nichols. I agree. Are they keeping her on the jump? I believe they are. I have not heard anything about her leaving the jump. I have heard her not being on the finals coverage. Excuse me. Let me see if there's any story that's out there. This is from Rachel Nichols showed the jump replaced. This is 4 days ago. Let's see how real this is. Replaced on ESPN Tuesday schedule just hours before NBA Finals. So maybe there is some truth that she will lose that show. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because that is a pretty important show when it comes to NBA. All right, so let's bring in our second guest. He's going to get you right in the men's fashion department, but also he is my cousin, Tracy Killian. We've plenty of times we've grown up, and he's doing something new. Wanted to get him on to talk about his business. Courtney says, yeah, she is still on the jump, which I think she will be. I don't think they're going to fire her because at the end of the day, it is just a comment. It is rude, but there's people that have done plenty worse for ESPN. So I doubt that she will get fired. But let's bring on Tracy Killian. What's going on?
What's up, cousin?
Hey, what's going on?
First off, I just want to say happy birthday to my little brother, John. And then thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, God. And also respect to the Douglas Boyz for putting out that good, positive music. So
Definitely. Make sure to check their music out. It's, like I said, YouTube, also on Amazon. But he's got the Instagram handle right there, TK Styles 2K20. But to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and then we'll get into what you're doing right now.
all right, well, starting off, Tracy Killian, your cousin, for all those who know. My dad, Clinton Killian, was on the show a couple months back. Let me see here. We grew up around each other, so you've seen my style changing. You've seen my coming of age changes through the years. You were always a good leader, kind of set that guide point for me, so I knew what I'm looking to build towards. So just getting into the new age, trying to figure out what we can do to get my business going for the future. secure something that I could build upon and not just kind of rely on what's been happening.
Yeah, definitely. You see the website down below, tracykillianstyling.com. So you're a personal stylist. Talk about what that entails, and if people in other states, because I know you're in California, but if people in other states want to be able to partner with you, how do they do that?
Oh yeah, so the best option is go to my website. Like you mentioned, I do have services of a personal stylist. I can help with the image consulting, closet organization, styling for events, styling for weddings, just anything all in between. I do say men's fashion, but I can help with females as well if they would like to wear male style garments. And also with the closet organization as far as expediting your search in the morning and getting ready.
Definitely. And that's important. I mean, I'll give a shout out to my dad right now, because my dad is really the one I learned fashion from. I remember going to the suit stores. He always had me dapper. He always taught me how to tie a tie and kind of get me to that point. But I bring that up because some people don't have that person, and this is what Tracy does. How did you get involved in this? What kind of made you want to move into this avenue?
Oh yeah, so definitely same background as far as being styled at home. First off, from my father. So with him being an attorney, he was always in a nice suit. Showed me how to maintain formal wear and just kind of the difference between casual and when you need to present yourself.
Yeah.
Same thing. So kind of just went through. Sorry, what were you asking?
No, I was just saying. So, what brought you to wanting to go into styling? Was that something you always had a passion for?
So definitely casual. I definitely grew up following the trends at the time when I was a kid growing up in the 90s from Oakland. So
yep.
A lot of your hand-me-downs as well. So, I had jeans, shorts, jerseys, T-shirts, starters, beanies, all the kind of normal wear, but I never really thought of wanting to dress up every day type of deal. I'd always admired your dad for having your guys' nice closets, all great to turn on when you needed to. But I was very comfortable with my casual style. I just never really had a plan to want to wear suits. I'd watch my dad and I was like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't want to wear a suit to work every day.
That's not for me. Yeah,
that just wasn't what I ever envisioned. So I always kind of looked at suits as they're going to be only for a wedding, court, funeral, church. But as I was growing older, it's just kind of expanded my horizons that sometimes I do want to look a little different depending on the occasion. Yep. My inspiration for really wanting to change my style as far as casual and just how I build my closet was actually my beautiful wife. So we were on a date one day and I was just kind of looking around and I knew she didn't like the way I dressed. On our first date, she just was not feeling any of my she was not feeling it. So we were on a date one day, she wanted to go clothes shopping. So I was looking around and I saw a couple blazers, some dress pants, a couple shirts. And I was just I'm getting to be 30. I'm getting older. It's the time I just need to start dressing nicer. So I grabbed a couple sport coats, grabbed a couple shirts, a couple nice pairs of pants. Didn't really have a reason to wear them, but I was just hey, next time we go on a date or next time we go somewhere, I need to be dressed appropriately.
Yeah.
Come to find out, I used to work in restaurants, decided to change careers, kind of just on a whim. Changed into retail. Within that retail environment, was working with suits, getting people fit up with formal wear, helping people schedule weddings, coordinate the styles for that. And I just kind of really grew a passion for wanting to help people feel good about what they were wearing and just value to the money that they spent on the clothes they're going to wear.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the clothes don't make you. You're going to make the clothes, but you still got to make that money to get those clothes. So
right,
you guys
exactly.
get to that. So
yeah, awesome, and that's true, man. Fellas, your spouse or your significant other is definitely going to tell you when you're not right. And funny story, I have these pair of jeans that my wife does not like at all. Every time I put them on, she's like, "When are you going to throw those away?" I'm like, "Look, they're comfortable. So I'm probably gonna wear them until they fall apart. I hate to say it, but she will definitely tell me when something's not right. And then you got to definitely listen to that ear, because they know what you look nice in more than you do, and that's just a real comment. So talk about I know you got the suit on right now. Talk about some styles that are in right now, and also talk about the accessories too. I've seen you, or you were going like this. I've seen you with the bling on the wrist. So talk about that too.
One of the things that definitely kind of sets me apart for what I can provide for people as well is that I'm very stoic with my style. Like my dad was talking about him with his skinny ties from my great granddaddy. So
yep,
kind of I just follow that tradition where it's not necessarily, I'm not going to follow what I see on TV. I'm going to follow what I feel comfortable in, and I'm going to help style someone to be comfortable with what they're wearing.
Yeah,
Looking nice, and it doesn't have to be the skinniest thing on you. It doesn't have to be all hanging off. You can look nice in a classic style as long as you're comfortable in what you're wearing. So personally, my style is just very traditional, classic. That's what you're going to get working with me, a classic California style that can go from casual to formal. We're going to be able to have you wearing nice, comfortable suits, not sucked in where you can't move around. I can get you if you'd like, but as far as my personal style, I want to give you that touch to where you don't have to feel out of place being dressed up.
Yeah.
Especially with the accessories, that's something as a man we don't really do when we're doing our casual clothes, but when you are getting dressed up, that's when you got to accessorize. You're going to put on that tie clip, put the jewelry on, pocket silk, try to coordinate the rest of your look together just to make it complete. So that's definitely something else I can help with. If people have a piece lacking, they feel like they have the suits, but they don't know how to make their suit look nice, or they don't feel put together in their suit. If you don't feel comfortable in it, it doesn't matter how nice it is. It's not going to be hitting at the end of the day.
Right, right. That's true. That's true. So you talked about you're a personal stylist, which we have my cousin Tracy Killian. You can see right behind me. Well, other direction. You can see right behind me the logo there. Make sure to go to the website. But you're a personal stylist, but there's also different kind of career avenues for this. There's a wardrobe stylist, which we talked about this kind of pre-show. Those that are on the movie set, those are kind of helping piece things together. So talk about some different avenues that this career can possibly take you in.
Oh, definitely. And also just for potential customers, I mean, you hear personal style. I'm sure most people don't even want to get into dipping their foot into that, because you hear personal style. It's like, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
So as far as a personal stylist, what we can offer, the first thing is going to help style your garments for any occasion. Generally, a personal stylist would already have the inventory and the garments for you, but since I'm trying to run this as an online business, I will assist and help them acquire these items, but I'm not going to go drop it off and tailor it for them and such. Now, that is something that in the future, more local people you're working with, that is something that a general personal stylist does provide. Personal shopper is another term which I can help provide with the services of. Personal shopper is going to be kind of falling in line with the personal stylist, except you're kind of already going to know what you want. You just don't have the time to shop.
Yeah.
So busy businessman, someone who kind of just wears what other people pick out for them. That's definitely where a personal shopper can come into play. We have options to get the item shipped in for you depending on what you want. And it's not going to necessarily have my say on it. It's what you just want. You just need me to get the items for you.
Yeah.
There's image consulting. So that's going to be something more so when you're trying to establish yourself for pictures, business, flyers, anything like that, where you need a specific look to fit into the realm that you're going to dive into. So that's what an image consultant can help you with as well. Kind of just that outward image versus picking out clothes. It's just going to be how to carry yourself when you get into these environments.
Yeah.
Wardrobe stylist, like we were mentioning, that's going to be more so someone that actually works on a movie set, is working with a wardrobe director for a play or a movie, and they're going to actually help coordinate, same thing, almost as a personal shopper, with the wardrobe director and find the items that they need to complete the looks for the scenes.
Right.
But yeah, that's that's about the realms you can take it. There's lots of ways that I can help people. Personally, I've not really delved into the events or plays, that type of such. But I mean, I'm available if someone wants me to help them style their play or movie. I got you.
Open and ready. Going through some of your and make sure to follow Tracy on Instagram because he's giving out free game. He's got different styles that are on there. I'm actually pulling it up right now just so I can kind of look at some of them. But he's able to show different styles and different fits that kind of get you right definitely in the season. Even with tie, without tie. Are there any colors that you would say, being a stylist, that men should stay away from, or can you mix and match pretty much with everything?
Oh yeah, like before I started getting into fashion and styling, I was very gray, black, blue, white. That's all I would wear.
Yeah.
Even when I started buying these nicer clothes, formal wear, everything was always sticking in those realms, just blue, gray, black, white. That gets really boring, and something with this type of fashion is really there's not any bounds. You kind of pigeonhole yourself when you're only wearing certain colors. I just buy anything nowadays. If I want to see something on myself, I'm just gonna wear it. It doesn't really matter if it's something I would wear in my casual wear, but to look nice, any color is going to give you a different pop, gives you a different attitude. Like you were mentioning with the seasons, you have to dress to the seasons. You can't be wearing dark clothes all spring and summer. Number one, it's going to get you hot, but number two, it doesn't fit the environments that you're in. So you have to be able to change with the season, fit who you're presenting yourself to, and that is something where with the fashion there are certain rules. So you got to wear the certain colors around certain times of the year just to fit in with the occasions.
Right. That's true. And there's always been this thing of men don't wear pink or that's a myth because man, you can really flip pink with anything, especially like the tie, because you got one of the graphics I've seen with the tie, or if you even go with a shirt. I mean, so talk about that myth and debunk that for us.
First, shout out to Cameron because
really. He had the purple mink with the purple bins and the purple phone, the flip phone, the Sprint phone. He had that too. Yeah, he was killing it.
So that kind of always inspired me, and just not only just him, but what you're seeing on TV. So as far as with the flashiness, Deion Sanders, of course, you got to throw in Ric Flair. You got that Ric Flair drip. You gotta have certain style, and that definitely helped influence that. Expand the horizons.
Sure. And I love the images because he has something every week. Right now it's week 26. I think this will be week 27. But each week, do you come out with a couple of styles and pictures of yourself that you would rock?
Yeah. So kind of the whole reason why the Instagram got started was more so some days I would just be wearing a nice outfit. And I didn't want to come home and I'm like, man, this is a waste of an outfit. Nobody saw me wear this today. I want to at least let somebody see what I could have shown you. Like I have a closet full of clothes, but only me and my wife see it sometimes. Or I go out somewhere and just the people I interacted with see it. I want to show people the style that I could present. I spent time building this wardrobe. I might as well show it to people that can maybe get helped by it. So
yeah,
definitely that helps with the way I direct that. So each day, I'm just going to take a couple pictures into the week. I grab them all together, see which looks I like the best, put them together in a nice little mosaic, and give you guys the week of that look. Yeah. Sometimes it's a theme, sometimes it's just random, but it's going to keep going, and every week.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm loving it. And at first, funny story, when I seen TK Styles, he was liking a whole bunch of my pictures, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And he was like, "This is Tracy." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I get it." Because at first it was really just the I think the image, and it was kind of some photos, but I didn't see you. So I was like, "Okay, I'm definitely gonna help and push this." Wanted to make sure also to get you on the show, but I love the mix and match because the thing is there is casual and there is business, and then there's business casual, you know, some people wear on Fridays at work. So kind of talk about how you can mix and match those, but also kind of keep it simple with what you have in your budget.
Oh, definitely. So that's where everything's going. It's rare that you're going to see someone in a full suit, especially for most businesses. Professionals always going to be in a suit. People that are attending church, obviously, certain professions, just you have to wear a suit. But as far as for the everyday people just dressing and shopping these days, you can almost wear anything to work. You can wear shorts. So I'm in California. People are wearing shorts and flip-flops to work. So I mean, I don't know what it's like in the rest of the country, but here there is no limit to the casual almost. So
yeah.
As far as for other people, if your environment and work or wherever you're going is giving you that option to get into the business casual or just casual that looks nice, I like to call it classy casual. Definitely polo shirts. Just don't make sure they're not too oversized. I know that was the thing when I was coming up and when we were younger.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Be oversized, but definitely when it comes to layering and just trying to put yourself together, having the right fit does play a big part. So just having your shirt fit in the right size, tucking it in if you need to. That's a big thing that I never really thought of until I diving into the formal wear more. Like you can't have your shirt untucked all the time. There's certain places you need to tuck your shirt in. Making sure your belt is on. Make sure your pants are up.
Yeah.
Those things will definitely play into your look and can set the different tone just from who you're interacting with. Definitely myself, my own personal experiences. That's part of why I like wearing suits now is just the way I would go around town and my interactions with the same businesses that I go into in my casual wear versus when I'm in a suit. All of a sudden, oh, it's Mr. Killian. Oh, Mr. Killian this. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a different vibe. They definitely present you different and talk to you different. So that's a great point. Now, let's talk about what a lot of people are going through, job changes. A lot of people are not working at the same place or looking for jobs. Talk about job interview, which some job interviews are virtual. So sometimes you got to dress from you're dressing from the waist up, or you may be in person. So talk about some job interview attire that you would recommend.
And definitely just for the waist up, let me just make sure everyone knows I'm not feeling. I got just sitting here in a shirt with some shorts on under here right now because I have seen that now. I have helped people with. I'm getting them ready for the job interview, and I'm like, oh, so what, you need a suit? They're like, nah, I just want a nice shirt. I was like, it's online. They're like, yeah. I'm like, you're just gonna wear some basketball shorts? Yup. So
unless if they tell you to stand up, because I had a real quick story. I had a job interview with my job, and they were like, are you just wearing a suit from the waist up? I was like, no, I got the full suit on. I had to stand up and show them. So I mean, like, they will ask you sometimes. Like, don't think that, oh, I can just dress from the waist up, because now people are getting smart now.
Oh no, definitely. So I tried to tell gentlemen, you still need to dress yourself like you're actually in front of the interviewer. Especially with these online interviews, like you're saying, people are catching up on these things. They've been doing online interviews for 2 years now. They're not going to sit here and just let you slide by, just put on a nice little tie and a sweater, and you got nothing on the bottom half.
Right.
When you start coming into the business there, that they're not going to trust that you already have a wardrobe or that you know how to dress appropriately. Right. So definitely in the tone of that interview, still dressing as if you were physically going there, making sure you're presenting yourself as if you were talking to that person in person, because you never know when you're going to meet them. If you meet them for the first time and you're always been in casual, they might not recognize you. Then, oh, this isn't the guy I've been interviewing. Like,
right, who's this guy?
Yeah, so present yourself as you were going to the job anyway, because if you're not prepared, they're going to pick up on that.
Exactly.
That's something definitely as an image consultant that can help with for people with online interactions and just also online presence, as far as if you want a certain look for your style of posts or your style of videos, I can help with that.
Yeah, definitely. And like we were kind of touching on, nowadays there is a lot of different ways that you can flip things and put different things together, which I got a couple images I'm gonna put up here. This first one was week. It got cut off at the bottom, but week 26. So you can see the different styles there. Definitely looking dapper, especially with the tie clip and everything. And this is what Tracy can help you with to get you right. And so even if it's for a date, I mean, like at sometimes, which being married myself, women want to go out and have a nice date sometimes. They don't want to just be going to the movies or something. They may want to go to a nice dinner. So how can you step up your dress, but also be able to keep it casual when you want? Because there's a lot of different events and things that I'm sure, people want to go to, especially with hopefully with things starting to get better with where we are in COVID. But and that's one of the questions I have for you. Did the birth of this business kind of come in COVID, knowing that a lot of things are going virtual?
Now the birth, definitely. The kind of conception that came about 2-3 years ago. I was kind of just sitting around thinking, like, there's a lot of guys getting married. They might not even have an idea of what they want to wear. A lot of the gentlemen I worked with through the retail environment kind of are just going along for the ride. The bride picked it all out. They didn't really have a say. Now, I could still help with that if the bride would like to work with the gentleman the opportunity to kind of put their touch on it, put their say in how they feel, be comfortable in what they're wearing, not just wearing it because someone told them to.
Exactly.
So that was the first steps. I wanted to be an online business for wedding consulting only. That was the original plan, only weddings. Kind of set that to the side, worked on other things, sitting at home once COVID hit. And I'm like, man, what am I going to do a year from now? What am I going to do 2 years from now? If all these businesses don't open again, I still want to work with clothes. I still want to help people get styled. I still want to help people feel good when they go to an event. So kind of just drew up the game plan from there. Still was sitting on it, didn't put it into action, just sat on it, waited through till January of this year. I just kind of hit that point where it was like, it's time. If I'm not going to start now, when am I going to start? So got it going.
That's a great point. And that's what I bring up to people about podcasting or about anything. If you have something that you have a passion for that you want to start, Tracy's a prime example. I'm a prime example. Take advantage of what you can do now. Don't say, oh, well, I can't do this. I laughed about this. If you're a friend of mine's on Facebook, you can go to my Facebook account and you'll see an image of me 5 years ago when I was in my closet doing the podcast, and my daughter came up to me and was like, hey, look at this picture I have. And obviously I was like, yeah, it's really pretty. So I mean, like, it doesn't matter what the beginning is. It just matters that you start and that you get going, because people are going to see what you're doing. And I think as long as you have that passion about it, you have the why about what you're doing, then people will definitely gravitate to it. And when they see it, they'll gravitate to it. Like I've been in this for about 6 years now, and it's not even necessarily where I want it to be yet. So there's never an end. There's never an end of this is where it's going to be and this is where I want it to be. There's going to be times of continuing to push at it. So that kind of brings me to this point. What do you see as the future for Tracy Killian style?
So right now, just building my client base, expanding across the country, getting that California style to other people that might not know how to get that casual, like you're saying, into the business look, and might still be stuck in their mode of suit every day, but need to kind of tone it down a little bit. Or the reverse, where kind of coming of age, same thing that I went through. I want to help the guys in their 20s, 25, 28-ish, getting close to the 30s, where you're looking in the closet and you're like, man, I'm still wearing this stuff from high school.
Yeah.
That's definitely where I'm trying to head, is expand to reaching more people, helping with weddings, definitely styling people for anything they need that they might not even thought of. Like, you might not really, like you said, for that date night, you might think, oh, your outfit's fine, but come around, this might be the fourth time you wore that shirt, same time you keep wearing the shoes, like,
right,
trying to freshen it up.
Yeah, and that's really real talk, because your spouse is going to be like, hey, you've worn that shirt a couple times, like mix it up a little bit. And we all like, to be honest, we all struggle with that. We all just think, oh well, it's just my wife. But like they feel that, they feel that interaction, and that, you not being willing to kind of step up and do more. So man, these are all great things. Make sure to go to the website. I wanted to bring up another image here, and if you can also touch on this. But this kind of is kind of the T-shirt. You got the Nike shirt with the blazer on one. You got the shirt kind of with it tucked in. So kind of talk about different things you can do with just a T-shirt and a collared shirt or a blazer with it.
Oh yeah, especially these days. So number one, you can do the full all the way together, get your tie button all the way up with your dress shirt, throw a coat over it. These days, throw a vest over it. As far as with a T-shirt, those are so versatile nowadays. Definitely a plain shirt that's fit right can go with a suit any day. I'm sure you'll see the pictures. There's pictures of me with just a T-shirt. Definitely when you want to go with a suit, keep it as plain as possible on the shirt. If you do want to go with a dress shirt, as long as you're not clashing with your tie, you can kind of expand those options. You can go no tie. You can keep it open, especially with that business casual blend. Something that I'm kind of working on is just not being all the way to the T every time. Like,
Right.
mixing it up a little bit. Like a personal style that I kind of actually like is that the in between kind of sloppy look that a lot of the young guys can pull off, where they have the tie all loose, they got the neck unbuttoned. You definitely saw it in like the 80s with the business, like the newspaper guy or whatever, sleeve rolled up.
Right, exactly.
That looks good if it's fit right nowadays. Like in the past, it was baggy, but now if you put the shirt on the right fit, you can pull that off and look put together more so than someone who is wearing the full suit. Because if their suit's not fit right, it doesn't matter what it looks like.
Right, exactly. And I'm kind of going on a little bit of a tangent, but I'm gonna kind of bring it back. We're both hip hop fans, and we know like Jay-Z, Nas, all of these guys that we grew up listening to. Now, when you see them, they're not dressed. You don't dress how you used to dress. So I say that to say you got to bring kind of your age along with the style. Even if you're out of high school, you can if you want, but I mean, you may want to step it up. I mean, and now you're seeing Jay-Z in suits. Now you're seeing Nas in suits. You're seeing these guys, like, yes, they can wear the regular T-shirt and jeans, but I think they know now that I'm not just a rapper now. I'm truly a businessman. I'm truly doing these things that are outside of just doing one thing. You want to be versatile. So your dress has to be versatile. So,
And that's definitely something that I remember kind of bridging that gap when you were in college and I'm still in high school. That's when all that, grown man, put your button up on, and I'm not doing that at all. I was like, I'm not, just because everyone's doing that, I'm definitely not doing that. So I went even longer with my tee. I went even baggier with my tee. Like, I'm not putting on a button up, nothing. Like,
yeah,
I'm not doing that. But as I got older, like you're saying, yeah, you start looking in the closet and it's like you're 30 something. You got to have something that looks like you're 30 something. Sometimes you got to dress.
That's true.
Now you can pull all those looks off, but it's just not appropriate in certain occasions. As you start to get into going to someone's nice wedding, going to obviously court, you cannot wear certain things if you're going in an environment. It's not only going to set the wrong tone, but it's just unacceptable sometimes. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so I wanted to kind of change gears to the NBA Finals. I don't know if you've been watching it, but give me your thoughts on what you're seeing. Obviously, Suns up 2-0. Giannis is doing his best, but he's not getting a lot of help. But kind of give me your thoughts on these playoffs and the finals. So
yeah, let me be honest with all the sports fans out here first. I'm not the most NBA follower these days anymore. I'm the Warriors fan. I'll watch us have our nice little run, and then I'm falling off. Not that I'm not watching; it's just overall the game's a little different from what I grew up watching. So it is taking it back to the superstar era of like you were mentioning earlier, where it's like you build your team. That's your team. You don't want to keep jumping around. That's something that kind of turned me off from the league a little bit. But as a Warriors fan, I can't hate on that. We build our team, so Steph and Draymond. Now, as far as the Suns, that's what I'm rolling with this year. I gotta see the Suns. Just gotta roll with the West Coast, number one. Number two, never really watched the Bucks play. I know Giannis is a pretty good player, but Booker is definitely one of those young guns that makes me want to watch the game.
Yeah.
Catching up with the All-Stars, he has a nice shot. He's been consistent since college, so I like seeing his progression in his career. And if he can get one this year, then let's get him one. I know you and me, we used to watch Barkley when we were a kid, and he got his year with the Suns, so
Yep.
I'm drawing back on
Classic.
that. Want to get my little year in with when we had who was that? Cedric Ceballos, Marley, all of them. So
yeah,
I'm gonna carry the Suns over for this year. But yeah, I can't roll, right? Yeah, not the legend. And we got team used to play for them, but yeah, I've never been a fan of them.
Yeah, a lot of people really haven't.
That's a lot. I forgot about Jadakiss with the because like Sam, I can tell. So yeah,
right. Yeah, but it's been an interesting playoff to say the least. The Lakers aren't in it. Obviously, Warriors aren't in it. LeBron's not in it. It's like you're seeing two teams that one that hasn't won it since 75 or 74, Milwaukee, and the Suns that have never won it. So it's a great time. Big shout out to the wifey right there. It's a great show. Yes, he is doing big things.
So also tying back onto that, that's something I liked on one of your Instagram posts when you always dropping sports facts, nice little knowledge as well. So dropping those stats that you made me want to watch the finals this year because I was looking at it, my team was out. I'm like, I don't care. But you put up the stat of how many teams had never even made it. And I'm like, oh, dang. Now I'm watching it this year. Somebody's going to win that I've never seen win the title. So
right. This is going it's going to be pretty special. And a big shout out to Sierra and Tracy. They both have the shared Facebook. But I know in the background she's definitely had some input in this and also helping out with the website and the social media. So, man, keep doing what you're doing. I'm here for you, whatever way I can help. Definitely coming on the show again. Like I said, I've had numerous family members on the show. You will not be the last. Had your dad on the show. That was interesting. He can always. He is one of those guys that can talk for hours. Really, he's one of those.
That kind of surprises me because I'm quiet compared to my dad. So
yeah. But
you do the talking, I do the listening.
But it's always funny that we've all worked for him at some point. Like all of us, me, my sisters, even my wife has worked for him at one point. So like we all know your dad and my uncle, inside and out. So
I didn't have a choice to work for him.
Exactly. That's the difference.
Yeah, I never had a choice in that. So you guys could stop whenever you wanted.
Right, exactly. I could have said I just don't want to work there anymore. You had to go. Like you didn't have a choice.
No, but I loved it, and I definitely respect all the effort that I always watch my dad put in every day. So taught me my discipline and also just my work ethic as far as my mom too. But definitely that example is always there for me.
Yeah, definitely. You're right, man. You're right. All right, so but before we get out of here, we talked about some of the accessories. You got to watch rings, bracelet, necklaces, are all those things, kind of factored in to what you're doing? Are those things that you could also put in and kind of mix and match with people?
Now with my ring, it is an accessory, but it's going to be part of my heart. So this is my wedding ring, so I don't really do the accessory rings too much.
Yeah.
But it just never became my thing. Now for casual wear is definitely something that's in right now. You're going to see people just throwing on stuff they like to just accessorize because right now it is turned into accessories. You're seeing the guys with the bags are coming back. We got stuff on the hip, got everything all over the place. So it is kind of getting back to the phase where the more is the more. So keep putting some more on. Like
that's real.
Accessorizing though, as far as jewelry, I was never into it as casual, but definitely with the formal wear, I feel like that's something you have to kind of have that final piece sometimes just to set your look apart. Now, you can have the nicest suit, but if you don't have the extra accessories to kind of look like you complete that look, then it kind of shows that you may not be fully educated in how to style that look. It's kind of it's underdressed sometimes, so you have to kind of just add those pieces to accentuate what you did put in as far as your formal look. Casual jewelry is always going to be a plus, especially with us growing up watching rap. Like, it's chains and designer belts. That's never going to change. So you gotta have the nice Rolex if you're going to do a nice casual look with the flashiness. So that's always just going to be a part of kind of over the top looks. You're gonna have to do those extra accessories to make yourself set apart, because everyone's gonna wear clothes every day. So now those accessories is what kind of made you dress
over the top.
Yes, sir. Now something that one of my coworkers, former coworkers, used to always say is the pocket silk. That's something I never really thought it was a big thing, but he kind of explained to me that when I was first working there that I didn't wear pocket silks. And he was like, man, the pocket silk is what's going to make it look like you wanted to get dressed up versus if you just had to get dressed up. And I was like,
wow.
And I started wearing the pocket silk at work every day. I'm realizing, I'm getting interacted with different. It looks like I put effort into dressing this way, not that this is my uniform and I just put this on.
Man, that's a great point there. My dad definitely put me on that. Like, you cannot, if you go wear the tie, you got to have the pocket silk to go with it, or it looks like you said, like you just basically said, I had to put on a suit today. This is what I wanted to wear, but it's not coordinating like Pops on Wayne's Brothers. You got to coordinate.
Now, that's right now. That crazy mismatched style of just throw whatever together, that can work too right now. Like, I'm presenting that to people, but if they need that, I can get that from them too. We can get you what you need.
Now what? Right. Now, the one thing we didn't touch on was the shoes, which I forgot to talk about that, but I'm glad I'm bringing it up now. Like, shoes definitely, to me, really puts the whole thing together, because if you and I'm so plain with shoes. I'm not even gonna lie. It's either black or brown. That's pretty much it. I'm pretty basic that way. But talk about shoes, man. How many different options you have and different ways you can flip that.
Oh, definitely, and especially just as a fashion tip from my cousin. The next color you want to go with is that wine, that maroon color. Get that going, because that's actually gonna be your most versatile shoe color. That's gonna go with your black suit, your black pants, your gray. You can wear that with your blue. You can wear that with your brown. You can wear that with every color you're gonna wear. So that's the most versatile shoe color right there. Like, that's gonna set you apart for any look, any occasion. Styles of shoes that I kind of were never familiar with. Like, I was kind of probably just on the playing side as far as dress shoes too. I just matte black plain shoes. But definitely kind of when I start diving into the more formal wear, I had to get used to the refined toe. So that's definitely something that's in more these days. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's hard to find a dress shoe that's going to just have that rounded toe that we're kind of used to when we were growing up. Everything's more refined toe, which once I start getting them on, it is going to present itself a little nicer. It does look better in certain occasions. The round toe is still always good for casual looks. There's chukka boots, which is that combination of the boot and dress shoe where you can wear it with some jeans. You can wear it with a suit. It's going to look nice regardless. There's Chelsea boot, which I'm not really too much into, but I know some people like them. It's definitely on the more European, the fashion forward side, but that's going to be that one with the all smooth boot with that little spandex in the by the heel.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So that's another way to dress your looks up. You'll definitely see people wearing the Chelsea boots casual or with a suit. Definitely goes either ways. There's the wingtip. So, of course, that's the classic. Everyone thinks of a wingtip. If you got to wear a tuxedo, you're going to have something with the pattern on the front. There's the cap toe, which very versatile as far as just giving you a different look so your shoe's not completely plain. Bike toe. So that's going to be the split right down the middle. Split toe. There's all types of shoes. Now, the other one, if you're familiar with, is the double monk strap.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
So double monk strap personally I never got into, but something that a lot of people misconceive is it's actually going to be treated as a loafer. So you're going to take the double monk strap, set the buckle. That's the one that has the two buckles that come across the
Oh
front.
yep. I just looked it up. Yep.
Yep. So you're going to just set that where it needs to be, and you just slide your foot in and out. You treat it like a loafer. You don't even want.
So you're not unbuckling that each time.
No.
Okay.
So yeah, that's definitely something that I'm seeing people walking around. See their flaps are all falling apart, and they're saying they're unbuckling it every day. And that's definitely not something that you want to do.
Yeah.
You end up ruining your shoes like that. So shoe care, very important when it comes to dress shoes.
Yeah.
Make sure you get them clean, polished, keep them dry.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for what you're doing, man, because it takes really knowledge and dedication to be able to talk about it, and not only talk about it, be able to share it with other people. So I definitely commend you on what you're doing. Now, I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but like pricing, do you depend it on the person? How do you kind of structure how much you charge?
So that's all based basically on the amount of service you would need and dependent on the type of service. Okay. So there's options, because I don't think I ever covered this, but specific packages that I do. So I have styling for a one-time event. So that's going to be your party, a nice date, job interview. I have wedding package, which is going to be helping for the groom, bride and groom, or mostly targeted towards smaller weddings. So not needing to set stuff up for groomsmen as well, but if you need groomsmen set up as well, we can help you with that. Organizing the closet. That's going to kind of just entail how much your closet needs work with. Some people might only have a couple suits, and okay, that's really easy. That I can knock that out real fast. But some people may have been building their wardrobe for 30-something plus years. I know if your dad asked me to style his closet, like,
ooh, yeah, that's gonna take a minute.
I'll have to say, Unc, like, I don't even know. I don't even know, because that'd be a lot of undertaking. So it kind of just depends. So that's what the beauty of my business also is. We're gonna have that free interview to start it off. So you're gonna talk with me, kind of discuss what options we need to look at as far as for what you want as service and how much service you will need from that package you go with. Definitely styling for new items is going to be a little more work than styling for someone who already has their closet full, and I'm just trying to help them put looks together.
Right.
So it is definitely dependent on the type of service and the amount of time we're going to work together.
Definitely. Make sure to go to the website. The detailed information is on there. Just to show you, it's got the home, obviously home screen packages, the gallery. Instagram is also a great avenue to go and see some of the styles that Tracy has and what he puts on. So, man, it is great to see my family doing great things and also using what they've learned, to kind of take their things to the next level. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so I was going to say, especially for people that don't have Instagram. So that's why I have that link on the website. So that's going to let you see Instagram. You don't have to have an Instagram. So I know a lot of people don't have Instagram. I didn't have an Instagram until this year. So if you don't want to sign up just to see the pictures or get some style ideas, then you can just go check my website. It's going to get updated with the same thing my Instagram has every day.
Definitely. That is great to see. And what I'm going to do here, because of the greatness of computers, I'm about to pull up the website right now, and we're going to get a little side-by-side action right here. So here's the kind of the front portion of the website. Also, it takes you to the packages here, which kind of breaks it down and kind of tells you what each one includes. So it is a well put together website, but also, like he said, it takes you to the Instagram. And that's what kind of breaks down, and it should be, well, it's not going to pull up. It's going to take you to a different page. But the Instagram is also a great resource because that takes you into the different looks and different things that he works with. So let me pull that up here real quick. Again, man, the greatness of computers is wild, how much you can do. So that takes you right to the Instagram right here. So you can see all of the different looks and styles. Does something new each week, which I appreciate that. Also, talking about different products that you should buy as well. Talking about the blackhead, eliminating scrub. Also talking about the waves. Gotta have the dips. Gotta take care of the hair. So I mean, it's got everything that you need right there. So, it's great. Now, since I did bring that up, talk about some tips or tricks that you may have for kind of getting ready for your day. Not necessarily your clothes, but just your wear or your hygiene, if you will.
Oh, definitely. And that's something that comes into the personal styling as well. Sometimes guys don't know what products they need to use to achieve the look or the feel they want. So
Right.
my biggest thing is just keeping everything in the same spot, hit the same routine every day. Just that consistency so that your body, number one, is used to you using these products, but then you actually get the effect of them. If you're only going to wash your face every couple of days, then your face is
Yeah, that's the problem, fellas. That's the problem.
you ain't gonna brush your teeth every day, it's gonna start to build up. So it's the same thing as just any other routine, just getting yourself comfortable, knowing what works for you, having it set up easy, accessible. Something I personally always like to do, I started doing this when I was a kid, but I double up on the product when I'm buying it just so that I'm not running out and then needing something again. So
that's a good point.
That's definitely a helpful tip for the busy gentlemen that are always on the run, don't have time to, oh man, I gotta go to the store again. Buy 2 or 3. We got Amazon these days. Order an 8-pack. I saw my brother John doing that. He ordered 20-pack of deodorants, and instead of them costing him $8 per deodorant, he's getting like $2 each. So
right.
Hold up. If you're gonna wear the same one anyway, you might as well just get them now.
That's a great point, man. That is my wife too. She'll be like, I'm gonna get 2, and I'm like, well, I only need 1. She was like, just buy 2, so you got a backup. So you were spot on with some things that my wife Erica said. So yeah, that's a really good point, because if you know what works for your style, why not double up on it so you got the stock already in? And a lot of companies, I'll say this, obviously my hair is not what it used to be. I'm sure you can see that. So I'm shaving my own. I'm shaving my own head, and a lot of these things that you buy, they will put it on automatic shipment. Now, sometimes, it can be a little weird, but if you want to, you don't have them draft your account, but they'll say, hey, we'll ship you these when you're out, or you can set it how far out they want to ship it. So, there's no excuse really to not keeping yourself up, because there's so many different avenues on how to do it. So, yeah.
Definitely something just for another tip advice for health. I changed deodorants. It took me a journey. I tried like 10, 12 different natural deodorants, but that aluminum, you got to get rid of those antiperspirants, stop using that aluminum products. It's backing up your system. It's going to cause problems later down the line. People weren't using those kind of deodorants in the past, so we don't really know the true effects completely yet. So
that's cool.
Get yourself on the natural deodorant as soon as possible. That's going to help maintain your body, definitely.
Yeah, that's real there, because I was in that same boat. So used to using that white stick, that speed stick, and all that stuff. But now I use all natural one. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a lot of different options out there. Go to your store and you'll see it. It's going to be probably way down at the end or in the corner somewhere, but it's there. And he's right. That stuff is really, to be honest, not really meant to be on your skin. It's tested on. I mean, it's just produced to help you not sweat, but it's not necessarily produced, properly for humans. So that's a great point there.
Tip for people too, because I hear people bashing the natural deodorant a lot because they're saying that it doesn't block the sweat or the smell, but that's part of your diet too. You gotta improve what you put in the body, because if you're not, then that's what's about to come out. So
exactly.
Definitely putting it on right after the shower, not kind of putting it on throughout the day like an antiperspirant. It's a whole different process, but if you follow it, I smell fine. I get a little sweat. It's not no stinky sweat. It's not pouring out through my shirt or nothing like that. So
right.
It'll take a little bit for your body to get used to. There is that little growing period where you're gonna notice your body change from the antiperspirant, but it'll be better in the long run. It's better.
And the one thing I'll say too is shaving your underarms. I know it may seem weird, but like that deodorant is just going on the hair. It's not actually going on your skin. Like somebody taught me that one time. I was like, wow, that really makes sense. So like when you're at the end of the day, when you're smelling musty, that's probably because it was just on your hair. It wasn't actually on your skin. So like, I don't know, that is something that I think I recommend guys doing, even though they're like, well, that's for women. No, not really. Like if you're trying to smell right, you gotta take care of that. So that's another good point.
These days are coming off, so people are gonna be able to smell you again. I know. I was going I don't know why people thought, but they thought you couldn't smell them through the mask. But no,
that's real. Big shout out to, this is our first time on Twitch. It's the first time BS3 Radio's on Twitch, and this shout out to Matt Thompson. He says Bucks in 6. I doubt that. I doubt that, buddy. I would say absolutely not, because they got to win 4 games in a row, and I highly doubt that's going to happen. If it does happen, Matt Thompson, I will come back on this show. I always say I do this. I will come back on this show, and I will say I was wrong, but I highly doubt, my friend, that they're going to do that. I also shout out to my man Vince Wright. He's in Minnesota. We always say this jokingly, one of the 5 black people in Minnesota. Shout out to you, Vince. And he's a sharp dresser too. So Vince can definitely probably use some tips and give some tips. But
maybe he might have some tips. So
definitely, yeah. And it's all the learning. It's really all a learning thing, man. We learn differently from different people. I learned a lot from my dad. You learn from your dad. Also, you learn in your different in your career path and in your job. So I mean, like this is a great avenue to be in, especially for the way we're going and the way that we want to see ourselves presented. So keep doing what you're doing. Make sure to go to the website. There's all the info there. Any last things you wanna leave us with before we close it out?
Oh no, I just appreciate this opportunity, cousin. Thank you for putting in all this hard work you've done, letting me speak on your platform. Just shout out to all the family and friends that are watching and everyone who's gonna watch, and then just thank you to God as well.
Definitely we'll appreciate you. Thank you everybody for tuning in tonight, man. The chat room was buzzing as it does most shows. Everybody that commented, came in, gave a thumbs up. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you can be on top of all the content. Go ahead.
I'll let everyone down on my basketball talk, but maybe Trey will bring me back when it's time for football. Now I'm a football fan.
Yes, I know Raiders
every week, so we'll have some talks down there.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do that. That'll be winter time, so we can talk about the winter wear, because I know that's definitely layers. So if you're in the colder states, definitely you're gonna have to have a suit on and an overcoat on. So definitely we'll get into that. We'll definitely be in touch to get you back on the show in the future. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night. Game 3 of the finals tomorrow. So and we'll be back on Monday with the forecast. We'll be talking about a movie called No Sudden Move. We'll get into that on Monday and review that movie. We review movies each week, and it's in a completely different way that you've never heard before. So it's not going to be like just going through the movie. We got to go on tangents. We got to make jokes. It's going to be funny. So make sure to tune in. But Tracy, thank you for coming on. Also the Douglas Boyz. Appreciate you guys for coming on.
Well,
so definitely. So have a great rest of your night, and we are out of here. Peace.